forth.
It's going to be like Squid Games.
Oh,
You go to a VC and they have you do these tournaments, and if you do it right, you can get funding. If you don't, you die.
You die. Did you watch the trailer for Anaconda?
Oh, not yet.
Dude,
that looks good though.
It is. It's super. It's a comedy. They want to remake it, and they try to get $2.3 million, and all the bank will give us $9,000. So they go to South America, and they're going to film it all themselves.
Wait, isn't Jack Black in it?
It's Jack Black and Paul Rudd.
It's the best.
And they have a snake wrangler, and on accident, they kill the snake. And so they have to go get another snake, and it is hilarious.
I would watch that movie. The original Anaconda was a great movie.
It was.
This giant snake was just being mean to people.
You got freaking Ice Cube. You got Jennifer Lopez with her banging ass. You got John Voight or whatever in his freaking bizarre accent that you're like, what is this guy again? He's like, hello, my little friends. You're like, what is this about? Yeah, you're gonna like that.
Yeah. They need to bring back all these old bad movies and just remake them, but not try and make them good. Just make them campy and dumb and fun.
Like, it's gonna have some horror, but it's just going full comedy. It's just like that's all. Which is what you want. That's all you want. That's it. Turning Point USA.
Yeah.
So
that's you
did not join, did you?
As a chapter, I did. I'm a chapter member of the Tanner sect. Because they want to because they're a racist organization full of evil and hate. They want to only make sure.
What is that? Almost sounds like
that's a joke.
Oh, okay, but no. Did you join? Did you get a sticker and stuff? I don't even know how it works.
Not yet. I'm going to though.
Yeah,
I'm literally I'm thinking of starting to get the organization and help it out. Yeah,
inside the room.
You know what's funny? I never really listened to Charlie Kirk. I know who he is. I never listened to him. He wasn't somebody in my radar. He was, of course, everybody knew him.
Yeah.
Now, screw those people. Now I want to give to the organization. I'm like, okay, this is good.
You better get to.
And I saw people dancing and laughing. I was over it because you know what? That's disgusting.
Yeah.
And that was the road too far for me. Not only was he assassinated, which is a road too far, but then the response.
Yeah.
But it was just me. There's a surprising amount of people coming out, even in my industry, that I'm getting texts from.
People on the left who were like God, what's his name? Just a while ago, Jeffree Star. If you know who he is, he just came out and he was like, "This is crap."
Yeah.
And people would say he wouldn't like you. Yeah, he would. He would like me because I want the truth, and he would respect me for who I am. And so you got a lot of these. It's a lot of people who understand in a different way than these people who are idiots. And like I expect that out of a barista. Right. If you're a teacher, you can't be around kids. I'm sorry.
100%. Did you hear the teacher that showed over and over again the him being murdered to those kids? This is to me, it's beyond the pale. And so now, not that I was really a fence setter, but to me, I was never active in anything. I am literally going to get active.
Slow your roll.
This is a fat guy saying active. So active means I might move my chair slightly.
I know you. So let's slow your roll on how active you're going to get.
But I definitely want to help. I'm like, this is ridiculous. There's a side of evil that is now undeniable because they're showing their colors.
Yeah,
the healthcare, assassinated.
Like the healthcare. Like if you're in health, if you're a pilot,
yep.
Sorry, if you're a healthcare worker, that's a tough thing. If you're a barista, again, it's up to whatever it is. But I look at it like there are some things where, all right, hold on a second here. And the other thing is what Scott Adams the other day, does Dilbert. He came out and he said, the thing that's most scary about this is the fact that they thought that it was okay to do this and that there would be no repercussions. In their mind, they thought this is a good idea.
I saw like in Korea, in Japan, people were, chanting, Charlie Cook. They were having, but it was really cool to see that what they thought was going to end something is fueling the fire towards it.
Yeah.
And any reasonable person, it's only, and this is one of the things too. It's only nut job losers that think he ever said anything bad about any group. You can't find it's cherry picked. But if you hear the whole statement, you're like, well, actually,
look, there was like the big thing with first of all, as I like to pull down the curtain, it's an entertainment industry. So people are going to put some spice on some stuff because unfortunately, this is the world we live in. I'd like you guys to know that maybe not every movie you see based on a true story is everything you think it is.
It's a documentary.
Yeah. And the second thing is, so much like I was watching this one and they were like, well, he called he said he called Asian people a chink. He didn't. He was arguing with Cenk. And by the way, Cenk came out and he was devastated by this.
Yeah, he did.
He became friends with him and his wife and stuff. So, but it's that kind of like you're not even close to being right.
Not even close to being right.
Stuff.
And this is why I feel that this was a straw. It's a group of people that have delusional thought processes. They don't care about facts. They care about supporting the delusion now to the point of murder. And the amount of people that are online promoting, we need more of this. You even have Hassan Piker and Destiny getting called up because they were saying slice and dice them. We need to attack. These two people have very large followings.
Yes.
And they're saying we need to attack and double down on violence, basically.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, how do you, like you said, there's now, it's that no quarter, no surrender. It's time to make sure that they don't want to show their face.
I think this hurt them as much as it helped Turning Point to cause. I think it's hurt a lot of people out there that thought that this was okay to do. I think, I can't do no, you can't do that. You don't get to work here. Well, that's my free, it's not your free speech. You had every right to say what you say, but as a business owner, I have every right to say, oh, by the way, you can't work here because we have other employees that don't feel this way and feel that it was uncouth, even if they didn't like Charlie. And we have employees who also have to deal with customers, and those customers, well, they didn't like what you said either. And once it starts hurting bottom line, it's got to go.
It's got to go. And here's the crazy thing. The Democrats are finally getting the basic realization that, oh, someone said something I didn't like. I guess I shouldn't kill you for it.
Yeah.
It's like this brand new revelation coming out of their mouths. Oh, well, maybe I shouldn't vilify and hate you because you have a different concept than I do. Well, really, people? I learned that in kindergarten. Yeah. You guys are a backwards group of
Well, again, you're playing to an audience, and the other thing is to like I said, we put spice on stuff when we talk about certain things, but you're playing also to an audience who not everybody gets it, man. That it's like I always go back to remember Christmas Vacation when he's all pissed off and he's screaming and yelling. He's if you guys want to give me a present, you go right up there to freaking Penny Lane and get my boss. And he says that in a sarcastic kind of pissed off way, and Cousin Eddie's like, "All right, I'll go kidnap him." There's all it takes is one.
Well, at what point does the useful idiot not become the tool of their rhetoric? And what the Democrats are is a group of rhetoric that relies on the useful idiot to give them any form of power or cachet in normal society. They should, at this point, they should not be allowed to be part of civilized society until they realize, yeah, maybe we need to cut some of this stuff out.
Well, I mean, you can't do we can't do that. That's not a good place. All right, settle down there, Pam Bondi.
Well, but how's it not? The only thing, this is my thing. The last time the Democrats were there, they were like, "No, we're going to keep our slaves," and we finally told the Democrats, "You're not going to keep your slaves."
We're not talking about slaves now. Come on, settle down there.
It was the last. This is the last time I feel the country was this divided. The Democrats are always.
Dude, you think it was this divided? I was talking to my mom, a couple other people. They're like, this was horrible and stuff because you got to see it. She goes, but go back and look at the 60s. There was one year when there was 2,500 bombs that were, the 60s with the Weather Underground and all of this stuff. And you've got
which was left-wing violence.
Yeah, but still but there was also faction fighting against him. And you had there was a real bad protest kind of craziness, but we didn't have it 24/7 in front of us. That's the difference now is everything is, some of the, she even said, look, people partied and celebrated when Kennedy got shot because not everybody liked Kennedy, and in bars and stuff, people had parties. The difference is there was no cameras.
Well, it was private. You know what? If you behind private things because you're just a horrible person decided to celebrate the death of someone, an assassination, You know what? That's the privacy of your own home. You can do despicable things there. But the fact that you believe you need to broadcast it,
Yeah.
you're
Well,
like,
why do you have to broadcast everything? Oh, you left your husband and now so you got to tell the world you're freaking cheating and leaving your. Why do I need to know that? Why do I need to know that you freaking, you went out and you freaking you got the shits? And why do you have to spend 5 minutes talking about it?
those
Why
kids
do you
didn't,
have to
they
tell
got
me
caught for
everything about
murder.
your life? What?
They got caught for murder because they were posting it.
Yes.
There's a group of kids. You're like, wait a minute. You're posting this?
Yeah.
In your
Yeah.
brain, well, your lack of brain, you think that this is something that you need to share with the world?
Yeah, probably.
I
I
did
mean,
hear Jimmy Kimmel is under fire. I don't know if he's out.
I don't know if he's out either. Oh, they suspended him indefinitely over the Charlie Kirk.
Good.
What did
It
he say?
was
It's not like I don't
ridiculous.
pay attention to anything.
You know what? The Democrats need to stop defending the killers and giving reasons why Charlie Kirk was killed. I think that's what he did.
What exactly did? Because he said a lot of stuff, and I try not to follow. First of all, if it's not sports, the only way I would see this if it landed on a football game in the middle of the day that I was watching.
It's
Okay,
in my feed, Benson.
okay, this is why it was on a podcast. Was it on a
Oh,
podcast? No. I'm gonna think next time. No. Well, of course, they threatened to take him. Brendan Carr threatened to take him and ABC, blah, 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 blah. I want to think next time. What is it? Kimmel's original comments were as follows. We hit some new lows over the weekend with MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points. Okay, well, that's kind of stupid. I mean, I don't think that's really, that's not dangerous. And then.
it's a lie.
Yeah,
Why
but
can't you
I mean,
just sit there and lie?
That's not even. But
It's
that's
another point of vilifying the side that just got an assassination on and acting like, no, this guy was right wing. No, he wasn't. The killer was not right wing. So ridiculous.
You know what he was? He was a freaking he was a little black pilled. To say
he was a leftist nut job, according to his own words.
So,
because you don't say that I need to stop Charlie Kirk's hate. The only people that think Charlie Kirk spewed hate was a leftist.
I'm trying to figure out what exactly. That can't be the only thing that Kimmel said.
Well, maybe you got a little deeper in it, but that was pretty bad what he said. It was the same way as was it the MSNBC
Yeah, but I mean that's
guy?
not like he didn't celebrate it. That was more of a push against MAGA and whatnot than it was celebrating.
Imagine this. Imagine when Martin Luther King Jr. got shot and assassinated. Similar thing. And I got on TV and I said, and I was
yeah, but see, here's a perfect example, dude.
Johnny Carson. No. And I got on TV and I said, Martin Luther King was shot by some of his own people. He was shot by, people in his movement. And, that's just what you can expect when you have such controversial rhetoric as Martin Luther King did. Yeah, that's no okay, dude. No, that's not okay. You're lying too. Martin Luther King's rhetoric wasn't controversial.
Well, according
to
Charlie Kirk, but here's a perfect example. According to Charlie Kirk, he was a bad human being.
Who?
Martin Luther King.
Well, according to the FBI.
No, according to Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk
said because
that.
of the FBI. Nobody knew this until the FBI told it.
No, a lot of people knew that. Come on, we all knew. But he wasn't a bad. Look, he liked the ladies.
He liked his orgies. He liked his prostitutes, and he liked his ladies, according to the FBI. He did a lot of good.
Let's be honest. I'm not 100% sure I believe the FBI in anything. So
he did a lot of good. And my point is, if you were to say that and twist the story into saying it was his own followers that killed him because his movement is divisive, you shouldn't be allowed to talk like that. And just because Democrats think that they have full reign to lie.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm a free speech absolutist. I thought he went on there and celebrated and talked about doing something horrible to the president. This was just more of, they think it's them when really it's them, and it's that I thought that it was a lot, because based on the shit we've seen where people are dancing and laughing, and stuff, I expected a lot worse than
TMZ and their whole cheering during when it was announced, and they're trying to cover it up and lie. People have shown very clearly. I'm in LA. That car chase, there was nothing to cheer about. The car went behind a building at that time. So you're cheering that it's out of camera view. They were cheering because at the same time, on the car chase, the announcer, the news announcer says Charlie Kirk has passed away.
Okay.
That is the exact moment when the cheer happens.
Let's see if Jimmy Kimmel's making any money. Here's the thing
he's got a
about
contract,
because you and I both know this, dude. If they're looking and they're like, we're losing $60 million a year. If this gives us a chance to get away from them, this might not be the worst thing ever. Because everybody's always looking for, you know what I mean?
They were already going to cancel him. I think this was his last year.
Yeah, they're going to do the same thing. He's making $15 million a year. That's a good gig if you can get it.
It's a good gig. It's here's my thing.
Apparently,
if I'm a corporation, maybe I don't want people with distasteful comments representing my corporation at that level. If it was like a producer on a show in the break room was making fun of Charlie Kirk, free speech. If it's on air and if
it affects your business,
ABC or CBS, I don't know, ABC, CBS.
If it affects your business, okay. You know what? That's a serious thing where you got to sit down. But we already know where he stands. Secondly, and I'm a free speech absolutist, I didn't think it was really that bad. And any way that Trump and them can go after anybody who, any of the late night talk show hosts he's going to do. And that's why the FCC got involved. I don't really think it was that horrible, but look, they're going to do what they do. Where do we draw the line? Because this was bad. I thought what Brian Kilmeade said last week was fucking atrocious, but because what happened later on in the afternoon, that got washed away. He came out and apologized, but he said that the homeless should be forcibly euthanized.
That's general. That's generic.
Sorry, dude. There's that one. He came out and he said, look, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. Because a lot of vets are like, wait,
100% he shouldn't have said it. My point is, according to the Supreme Court, and that's one of the problems about this free speech and call of violence, the generic isn't considered a call to violence.
But that was what Jimmy Kimmel said was not generic. It was generic. There was nothing about it that said, go kill.
No. He didn't say okay, but he did blame the side that was murdered for the murder. He did at the end of it. He says, we all know that it was another right wing.
What he said was worse than
it was. But nothing happened. What he said was worse, but nothing happened.
Well, nothing happened. Jimmy Kimmel didn't kill anybody.
No, but he's commenting on an event that was, it's like, let's say it was 5 days after 9/11 and you started making, 9/11 jokes. You probably would have got fired. If you were a talk show host making 9/11 jokes, you probably got fired.
Yep. No,
it was right after 9/11.
Who am I paying? See, that's the thing. That's what I said today about Kilmeade, where I know Kilmeade, he's a nice guy, and I don't think he should get fired for it. He realized it was a fucking stupid thing. You could see it in his face after he said it. That wasn't really smart. But I pay people like Kimmel or any of these people to have opinions and to be funny. I know who they are when I hired them. Now, I don't know. Again, a lot of this also has to do with money. We could sit here and freaking debate this all night. I get paid to have opinions that are going to be different than others and stronger than others. Charlie Kirk got paid to have opinions that were stronger and that, in some people's mind.
Pretty milquetoast opinions. They were pretty
comparatively to a lot
run of the mill, right? Conservative. They were not Nick Fuentes. They were not, you can go down the list. They're not even close.
No, they weren't. But the thing is, what I'm saying is those people are hired to push the envelope and say, what you're getting with them, right? Like this shouldn't have been I thought he said something really bad. And if this was, if the Democrats were if anybody, I don't think he should be suspended indefinitely, but I also think they may be looking for a way to get out of this because he's already denied how much money they're
MAGA, basically. If he did say that they were responsible for Kirk's death, that's an outright lie. It's demonstrable, provable lie.
But again, then that it doesn't matter. He didn't say it he's a comic. Nobody takes him serious.
Well, he's barely a comic.
And he was never really a comic. I mean, that was never his jam.
Actually, Adam Carolla was the comic.
Yeah. Well, Jimmy was funny
when he was the straight man.
When he was on K-Rock, he was funny.
Well, the Man Show, which he
was funny then, and then somewhere along the line, it was like
he was much more, I think, of the straight man.
Yes. Always. When he was on K-Rock, he was hilarious.
Yeah. Well, I think Adam Carolla and him have diametrically opposed views too.
Yeah.
Which is funny. Because I remember, everything he would be against his whole show back then.
Oh,
The Man
totally.
Show. He would now take because of course, he's a bit of a hypocrite because they gave him a big check, but he'd be like, "Oh, the Man Show's the worst thing ever." Really, dude? You did it for how many years? How many
Yeah,
seasons?
a lot of it.
Girls on trampolines. You dressed up as blackface. You did everything you said is horrible now.
Because he does Karl Malone. Karl
Yep.
Malone like score basketball points. He like put ball in a hoop and then go get paycheck.
It was exactly. It was a funny, dumb skit. Um, I think though, the society, like I said, rubber bands. We realize that these nut jobs on the left have gone out of control. Their rhetoric leads to violence, and there has to come a point where, like, shh, tone it down, people, because they don't have the brains or the ability to tone it down themselves. They're not an intelligent group of people.
Well, these
So
people, you know what? Like,
you know
so
what? Like, Trump, when Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, they showed
yeah,
this clip. She hated him, and Trump was asked about that when she died.
yeah.
Nothing but positive stuff because he outclasses them by a million degrees. Because when
Well,
an
that
adversary
was
died,
a hard thing for him to do. I mean, it's look,
well, he just has more class because the adversary died and he didn't go into it. Well, I'm glad she died because she hated me. And no, he said, she'll be missed and did the exact right thing to say. These nut jobs don't have the morals to know how to act. And I think it's time that we
it's
have to install morals on them.
well, how are we going to start install morals on them?
This is a good example. Hey, Jimmy, you don't do that.
Yeah, but that's a business decision.
Yeah, it's a business decision that says, yeah, me
That's
as
a business,
CBS.
you know what it is, Paul? It's a business decision with the help of the FCC coming down hard on ABC.
Because maybe, or ABC, because maybe it's time for us to say, no, you just can't, you can't keep inciting this stuff and lying and you just be getting
I
away
don't
with
think
it.
for a second he incited anything, even amongst. I doubt that. But first of all, let's be honest. Nobody under the age of 70 watches fucking late night talk show hosts.
You don't think just the chorus that all comes together of the lies and they reinforce their lies, there is no ground, it's all
Here's the thing.
fantasy.
You're thinking left and right. Okay. So I spent the last 2 days with my 20-something-year-old little brother and them getting a real dude. It's not politics. It's fucking incel nihilism, freaking giving up on the world. Dude, half these people have never even been on a fucking date. It's
He
like
was in a relationship with a trans.
okay, but do you know anything about the weird world of the looks maxing and the trans maxing and the way that these people are fucking going? Do you have any idea about? No, do you have any idea?
No, but he wasn't an incel. He can't be an incel because he had his roommate or his lover.
But no, but Paul, do you have any idea what that so many of them are doing? That they're first of all, they're breaking their faces to try to get the perfect, their whole thing, their nihilistic, wacky world of it's all about the looks. And if I can't be perfect, then they go this opposite way. Even some of them thinking, well, I'll go trans because I'd rather be a beautiful woman than a short, ugly man, which is this fucking new weird world that they're living in. And
So we have a epidemic of mental disorders.
yeah, we have an epidemic of pissed off young men who, or it's almost like pick your poison of what you want to be pissed off as.
But statistically, isn't that very small? It's like looking at the P compared to the fact that it looks like they're moving right in mass. They're going young. It's young men that are going back to church.
But here's
going back to
the average person moving right that's not going to pick up a gun and shoot a bunch of people.
Of course
it doesn't. No, it doesn't take. The problem is these guys are going to these freaking dude. They showed me, and I went from freaking Reddit to a couple other places, and these people are fucking angry. These
Reddit's
young
a
men.
cesspool.
No, dude, it went from there.
It comes from video games. Reddit's a cesspool.
It went from there to, oh, here's all these other things off the Reddit site over to like the not freaking the 4chan stuff where you got, it's almost like a menu of, oh, this, or you hate that, or you hate, well, it doesn't matter. Come on over and come tell all of us how you're a victim and the world's shitty. Pick your poison. It doesn't matter.
It's a small subset.
Replacement theory. It doesn't matter, dude. Small subsection. You've got the average male in their 20s hasn't been on a date in 2 years. They watch fucking porn. They're leaving the
left and moving right.
No, Paul, they're leaving,
going back to church.
Dude, they're leaving. You're seeing all that stuff. That's not what they're leaving the fucking job market. They're living at home way longer. They're falling further behind women. You're hearing all the left are doing. They're leaving this, they're leaving that. That is some. But if you've got 10,000 or 15,000 fucking angry young kids who at any given time might freaking, and out of that, 10% might freaking decide to flip the switch because they
You have
think life's
ISIS.
horrible. Huh?
You're describing ISIS. 10% of Muslims are terrorists.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. The majority, the 90% of Muslims, they're not. 90% of Muslims, I live happily in their thing. They care less. They invite me to their non-bacon barbecue, and we all live happily. 10% of Muslims want to kill me.
Well, not even that. 10% of Muslims don't want to kill you. It depends on the time of the year.
Maybe.
Because you got to also think, right? Like if you're in Afghanistan, this may be the time of the year we're doing crops, so I don't hate you so much. And then we found out that we hate you less because the Americans aren't here, so I don't really have a reason to hate you. And oh, by the way, Al Qaeda's over there, and these people are ISIS. Now we hate them more. So, and still no bacon.
So you have to look at it too. You look at it. Islam. The majority of Islamists don't want to blow anybody up.
No.
A small subset of them want to blow people up.
Yes.
Because they have
blow each other up too. We always forget that.
They have a certain interpretation of a belief system that wants them to commit violence. The analogy is perfect. The same thing in the Democratic and the left. I'd say the most of them do not want to blow me up. There are some people on the Democratic Party, and I'm comfortable a lot, that have an ideology that's not based in reality that do. So if that ideology expresses itself in this nihilism, it's still an ideological battle with people that are not grounded in any form of reality. And you have to, somehow, society has to go, no, stop burning the witches. The witches didn't stop your crops from growing. Stop it. But what about free speech? I want to tell you that the witches are the reason why my crops don't grow and my cattle just farted into the north. No, I don't care. It is free speech. You can say it, but it's no more. You no longer have a place in society if you want to burn that witch. That's what we've come to.
Yeah, but here's my thing, dude. We've got to be honest that everybody's looking at this from a left-right perspective. Isolation. People are pissed. I mean, I heard all day today, oh, Chad, you don't even fucking understand. The right's never done anything wrong. I got that so much today. I'm like, really? How about El Paso? How about Buffalo? Both of those guys, alt-right, super crazy, replacement theory, fucking super manifestos about, all. But what does everybody have in common? They're isolated. 99% of the people they talk to, they never even met because they're all online.
The last 9 have been leftists. So you can isolate. I'm not saying that the right never did anything.
Leftists, according to whatever you're looking at. I think if you look,
the last 9 have been trans.
The last 9 have not been trans. You're fucking insane.
They did a list.
Who did the list?
They had pictures of the trans person
did the list?
And who they killed.
Who
pictures,
did the
trans person, you can't argue with the picture in the record.
But who did the list, Paul?
I don't know who did the list.
Well, okay, then I could put together a list.
But with the pictures, and they were actually killings, and they were trans people.
Here, 2018, Pittsburgh synagogue, 11 killed, right wing. 2019, El Paso, 23 killed.
Wait a minute. I know they say that. The Pittsburgh synagogue, was the guy potentially pro-Palestinian?
No, I don't think
that would not be right wing.
Oklahoma City bombing. Well, they really won that one.
They really go back. They really want to go back far. What about in modern history? What about in the last 5 years?
Okay.
In 1812.
Church massacre. 9. That's
which one?
Charleston church massacre. You don't remember that one?
No. When was that?
2015. El Paso Walmart shooting.
That's still not the last 5 years, but okay.
El Paso was 2019.
Okay, well, it's 2025, but yeah.
Okay, so let's see here.
Well, in the Charleston sling, he wanted to kill 10 white people. That could be an odd. That's what he's Charleston shooting. I guess. I don't know how that would work as him being right wing.
Again, another fucking nutty. What was he again, Paul? A person that goes into the world of the fucking wacky, crazy lunacy of living in the world of online.
Living online, listening to the rhetoric, not again, what we talk about this. Nobody knows how to parse truth anymore. They just believe what they hear. They
Well,
don't look
and they're
into it.
also going on the fact that they feel like their life is shit, that they can't get girls, that they can't that the only thing that matters is being what you know what they call them? Honestly, dude, giga chads. I didn't make that up.
So that's would be 100% American phenomenon because the same thing's happening in China, same thing's happening around the world. The Chinese haven't killed anybody. The Chinese aren't radicalizing. The same minute they feel it's hopeless. They're literally just saying they're taking out a life. It's a movement and it's in Chinese, so I don't know how to
Y
pronounce it.
well,
But there's a
yeah,
movement where they're checking out a life. They don't have dates. They don't have anything. They're literally just living life, and they're like it
yeah, but
basically
what does that
translates
that's
to
what does that say about us, dude, in our freaking world?
that we have an insidious thing that is poisoning the minds. That's what it says about us because the same affect is happening around the world in like places like China, and they're not killing anybody.
Well, because they crack down a lot harder too. You don't get to go freaking do the shit
But
that
they
they
also don't allow the things they allow here, the propaganda they allow here from the left isn't allowed over there.
because they're only the fucking left over there.
Well, they wouldn't be. They're kind of
No,
conservative.
I mean, they're communist. If we're gonna look at it, they're communist. I would say that's kinda left unless that's the new right.
Well, their stance, like their moral stance and stuff, is very kind of like they don't want. Um, I'm dealing with this right now, so you can't have different things. You can't have different things in the media. A lot of profanity, a lot of sex, there's all kinds of things they clamp down on because they don't want their people
Freedom,
exposed to it.
smiles, anything that has to do with any kind of controversy, anything that shows Taiwan as its own country.
You can't do
Uh,
anything that shows Taiwan as his own country.
remember that? But we were talking about that day. Do you remember when freaking John Cena had to apologize in Mandarin?
Yep.
What was that over? That was over freaking he said something about Taiwan, and that was I was
I
like,
think
"Are
he
you
just
kidding me?"
mentioned it.
Yeah.
Like, not even like go Taiwan or anything, just to mention it.
Yeah. Do you remember yeah. I thought that was bizarre. Like over he said, "We're really excited to open up Fast and the Furious," I think it was, or one of those in Taiwan. And he didn't say whatever
Greater
you
China or whatever they
no,
want.
you
Yeah.
gotta call it, the freaking I don't know, the People's Republic of freaking Taiwan or whatever the hell they have. They have a
They have a
Chinese
word for it.
Taipei. You have to call it Chinese Taipei.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know.
I think at the end of the day, in the last 5 years, as it's just they turned up the heat and the rhetoric of everybody's a Nazi, everybody's a fascist, everybody's this. It's gotten worse. The only examples seem to be left-wing violence overwhelmingly. And people want to go back decades, 2 decades, 3 decades, 1960s, Jim Crow laws. That
Yeah,
doesn't
but the
count right now. I can't
1960s,
time
a
travel.
lot of that was the left. You're not, I mean, again, there was and the Walmart and Buffalo weren't too far ago, dude. They weren't too long ago. I mean, we're not talking
But
about
I live now going forward. And now
yeah.
going forward, I see a problem with left-wing rhetoric causing violence. That's what I see right now. We can go and reanalyze the past and say 10 years ago, the right wing was saying this that caused this violence. But
Yeah, but
right
you know what,
now,
ago? 10 years ago, the right wing would have denied any of that stuff even happened.
it's unequivocal now. The
Show me
left
all the
wing's
murders, dude.
rhetoric
Show me all the murders.
is we just had one.
Yeah, okay, you've had one, but show me all the one because here's the thing: if a crazy skinhead shoots somebody in freaking somewhere, it's probably not going to get the same kind of press as something else. So it's like this guy. This let's be real. This was huge because it was first of all it was on freaking camera,
I was on live basically, yeah.
and I just was fucking insane. Isn't that crazy, dude? That we're living in that world now.
Dude, I saw that when it
I'm not
happened.
sure it's a good freaking world to be in.
No, because you know what? It's in your brain and it gives you an emotional reaction.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's some things I don't need to see.
I don't need to see. And then they were posting because his daughter was there. They were posting pictures of little girls saying the last thing she saw of her daddy with her face covered in blood.
Yeah.
Again, I people want to do this equivalency, but I can't see it. And I am very fact driven. If I could see the right wing doing similar things, if a man died posting like pictures of his little girl with covered in her face covered in blood and stuff, I would be against it too. I can't find it. So I can only be against what I can see.
How hard do you look for it though?
I got to look for, well, I don't see the last time a right winger killed a prominent left wing personality. So that's first I have to find that. And again, I can go back before, like 20 years ago. a prominent, left-wing person was killed by a
I can't
right-wing
even
person.
remember. I don't even remember, like, who was it? When's the last time we had a political assassin? Well, I mean, obviously this summer in Minnesota, those two were killed.
Would be like they were prominent. What were
Both
their
were
names?
Democrats.
Didn't they get killed because they voted with Republicans?
No,
They voted
no,
against the party?
no.
That was a different group of Democrats.
Those two got killed for. I don't know why they shot the husband. Was it Bolton, whatever the hell his name was?
Because one of it was because a guy said you voted, you're basically a turncoat to the Democratic Party.
But that was just a horrible freaking thing.
People, I don't know. We don't know their names. It
Who?
would be like who's a big guy? If
Well,
Hassan,
that's the whole thing. The fact is, you don't even know. They're two freaking Minnesota freaking elected officials that are state elected. They're not even like they're local state. It was bizarre.
that I'm pretty sure voted against the Democratic Party with
let's see here. I don't know what he was. He was a nut. Is he still alive? Did they catch him?
I don't
Or
know.
did he kill himself? That's the other thing.
Yep, controversial vote. They were killed because they didn't align with the Democratic Party. Oh yeah, who would have thought? They voted in favor of a measure repealing healthcare benefits for undocumented immigrants, and so that's why they were killed. That's definitely not right-wing violence.
Let's see here. I'm looking up some of his crazy shit he wrote.
Well, I'm letting it. AI did a little summary. It said
he had no kings flyers in his car.
He had 70 names, including Democratic politicians and advocates for abortion rights, suggested that the shooter was targeting those with opposing political views. But his opposing political view was he didn't want, and what right-wing spokesperson says he wants to give healthcare benefits to undocumented immigrants?
Well, who doesn't?
No, but that's not the right-wing talking point. That's a left-wing.
No, I'm just saying that this is the last of the political murders I can think of. I can't think of. Can you think of anything else? I mean, you got to go Harvey Milk. I mean, what are you going to do? When's the last time? I mean,
when they shoot up the churches and stuff, you can say that was more of a hate crime because they're targeting churches and children and that kind of thing. I don't know if I could honestly say that's political because kids aren't political. The only political violence lately seems to be coming from the left. And I don't know why it's so hard just for reality to be accepted. The left has a problem with violence. It needs to get itself under control. Because they believe words are violence. They believe hearing an opposing opinion is hurtful.
Yeah.
It's not. Just turn it off.
The Buffalo killing was just 3 years ago. He killed... Do you remember that one, dude? He live streamed it. Do you remember that? He killed 10.
Oh, I think I saw some of that. Yeah.
Anti-black, great replacement theory, white genocide, and white supremacy. God, that's another thing, dude. Fucking, that was just creepy as shit.
Oh, he was just sentenced to life in prison.
Yeah, he pled guilty. I think. Well, because you were filming it.
It's hard to say. There you go again. You wanted to live stream.
It is so bizarre that we live in this. You know what? But you know what? You can go on anywhere now and watch the freaking wars happen.
Yeah. Well, look at the whole, anti-Israel. Don't want to get deep into that, but all of this is spanned the fact because social media, we can watch things taken out of context that make me believe things that may or may not be true. Now, the problem is people aren't intelligent enough to look deeper into anything. This guy shot Charlie Kirk because he's standing up for trans rights. Okay, I guess. Is that really the motivation that goes behind your concept? No,
I think his motivation was he was fucking pissed off.
Well, at least he believes his motivation.
Yeah, his motivation. But again, we're all going to sit here. It's like if there's a fucking serial killer, do we kind of know what we're looking for?
Kemper had an IQ of what, 160? He was incredibly intelligent.
This kid, by the way, did you read about him?
No. Is he
Dude,
smart?
he's like, is perfect on his SATs. His ACT was like through the roof. He got straight A's. He's like a 4.985. Yeah, he was
So here's the
ridiculous.
problem. We live in a world that doesn't
Smart
want to
people.
believe in evil. We want to believe in mental disorder. We cannot. Kemper was evil. He didn't have a mental disorder. Yes, he killed how many women?
Uh,
Yes, he was evil.
he was
But
fucking
the
huge.
man was brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Well,
You're not going to go. Oh no, he's just a crazy nut job.
look at Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy. Evil exists. This kid was evil.
But how did he become evil? See,
According to his parents, left-wing indoctrination.
But where?
That's what we need to find out. Where online, probably.
Yeah.
Which is a sad thing. And then he started dating a trans.
In the gamer world.
And dude, game stuff is a cesspool.
Yeah, what is that? Because you're fucking used to be a gamer.
It's well
That's
right now Asmongold
you have behind you.
exactly, yeah. Asmongold, who's a big streamer, just started calling out all the developers behind big titles from Ubisoft to Blizzard that were celebrating Charlie Kirk's death and say, don't buy their stuff. Don't buy what they work on because this is disgusting. They're literally cheering, excited that a man was assassinated. Asmongold's not a right-wing guy, but that disgusted him.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, that's just disgusting that you guys are going to cheer and be happy. And that's what I think that the left needs to contend with. The majority of normal people that aren't politically biased think that they're disgusting. They're like, oh, that's just horrible, horrible, horrible people. But at what point can't we call out people for being evil? Not being mental disabled, not being evil. And if all you do is lie about the other side, even when you know it's a lie, you're evil. Even this anti-Trump hate, it's like it gets ridiculous, and it's like, okay, Trump did this, whatever. Grow up.
I don't.
Get a break.
This is the way I look at Trump. I try not to talk about him. If he does something good, great, fine. It's too much is focused on him.
So much,
and it's like I try. It to me, I just can't be bothered. There's other shit going on.
Destiny was just interviewed. He's a big streamer too.
Yeah, he is.
And his interview was basically, I can't denounce the Charlie Cook murder because Trump didn't come out and say something. You're like, dude, that's Trump derangement disorder. You as a human being can't say.
He says that because everybody expects him to say that.
That's how he makes his money.
That's how he makes his money. See, so Destiny
until now, he just got his main money source just canceled him for saying all this.
But that's how he makes his gig. His gig is he is that guy that says those things that are so ridiculous. I mean,
but these impressionable people don't see that. These impressionable people hear it and they go, "Oh yeah, that's true."
Well, it's it's like these young kids too. What was it? Jimmy Carr said it best about like Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is masculine according to a 14-year-old junior high boy. That's what they think masculinity is. And
he 100% is, and he spews a lot of crazy stuff. No one's been murdered because nothing he spews can be construed into calling the other side.
I mean, there may be a whole bunch of
Nazis,
but
that all got dropped because every girl that they caught were like, no, he didn't do that to me. Andrew Tate, whether they like it or not, girls think is attractive. So they're like, oh, he's sexual for you. No, I kind of wanted to. I kind of wanted to do that. And you're like, that's why he got all his charges dropped. Because the women,
all of them.
the women wouldn't.
They face rape and traffic charges in the UK.
Yeah, the women though are not for that. They're like, no, this didn't happen.
So,
and the government said that they had to be on their behalf because they were brainwashed, basically.
No. The reason they got dumped in Romania is because fucking Trump and them spoke up for the guys, which is freaking no.
And the fact that all the so-called victims were saying they weren't victims, and the government was saying, no, you are.
Mm-hmm. No, there was a European arrest warrant. But again, I mean, are they going to do anything to the guys? Probably not. So it doesn't matter at this point. None of it matters. You're not going to do anything about it. And as we all know, apparently you can do anything you want to women. And if you've got enough power and cachet, you can get away with it.
The Tate brothers don't have enough power and cachet. They have literally you can't twist the law other than America to the point where you can put somebody in prison when the victims are saying they're not victims. That's a hard one.
Yeah, but that's dude. There was a lot of them that didn't say that.
There wasn't. There was. But here's my problem. Let's say one was going along with the thing, but they were putting them up on RICO charges, like it's a group of stuff. Could potentially if they well again. I don't think people just rape once. You don't just do it because you're like, I think I'll just rape once and then I'll never do it again. That doesn't sound
Paul,
logical.
I'm looking here, dude. The investigations, Romania, all still going as of May of this year in the UK. 10 criminal charges, including rape by 4 different women. There's also civil trials coming. Asset seizures have happened in both Romania and there. Where are they now? Because they left here.
Are they still in Romania?
I don't know. That is a good question. And it's his brother too, right? Because you never heard anything about his brother.
No. Now, lately, Tate has been walking the line of calls to violence.
Yeah.
After the Charlie Kirk thing. So I will say that I've noticed a couple of his things got a little edgy. But it was more of like an emotional outburst.
When last seen, I guess they were in Florida.
Oh, that's funny.
Because we let him come here.
Because
that's kind of bizarre, right? Like who? Well, because our people put pressure on him, still allow him to leave.
Yeah, I mean, what was it? They make a lot of hay out of that Israeli guy in the child. Was it not the child porn, but like the child sex trafficking ring?
Yeah,
in Las Vegas, and they let him go back to Israel. Although it's very common, apparently, until you're accused, they let people go back
to Israel.
I think anywhere. I think anybody you can travel back, and you just have to come back.
None of those people, dude. If you got charges against child sex trafficking or something like that, and you freaking said, "Well, I'm going to go stay in another country," you fucking think you're coming back for those charges?
No, I think there's no extradition from Israel. I think
it's very hard. It takes years, sometimes decades. Some of these people that have done some horrific things, it's taken them a long time.
Like Prince Andrew.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you got to have that kind of freaking power.
Because he basically, his excuse was he doesn't have sweat glands as he's sweating. Is
that what he said?
Yeah, as he's sweating on camera.
Well, like, what's his name? Like Kash Patel, who's fucking just as useless as it gets. But they asked him yesterday about did he ever traffic in women, Epstein, and he's like, not to our knowledge.
Oh, isn't that the whole point of
yeah. No. Paul, you gotta understand it. He said, no, he kept everything for himself from what we understand. I'm like, fucking Prince Andrew on your island. You're not even. Oh God, have fun.
Here's the thing. That list of what those women came out because all people care about is Trump. Tom Hanks, Robert De Niro. They listed a long list. Trump wasn't on that list of names they put in. They all went to that island multiple times. Bill Gates. There all these people. The head of I think Victoria's Secret. All these people went, but nobody cares about that because they only care about Trump, which means they don't really care about what happened to those poor women. Because you're like, why isn't any of the press talking about Hanks and
Hanks can go to the island?
He's on the list.
Tom Hanks never went to the island. They may have hung out with him in New York or met him, but he never went to the island.
I think he's on the flight logs.
Yeah. Well, being on a flight log means nothing. Let's see here. There's no record of Tom Hanks being on Epstein's flight logs or on the island. So
who was on Trump isn't on the island either.
No. There was a lot of people that dude, a lot of the people that had the power. Those are the people like Les Wexner and stuff that most people couldn't pick them out of a, worth billions, but you couldn't pick them out of a line.
Kevin Spacey, Chris Tucker, Alan Derwich, Naomi Campbell. Like there's this long list of people that they're prominent that nobody cares about because they don't really care. It's just a way to go after Trump.
Dude, this happened long before Trump was ever around. So
and they didn't care.
those people did care, including fucking Trump and all of his people who pushed this, that this was a big deal.
But if the Democrats cared, why didn't they do it while they had all the control with Biden? They had what, 5 years to have done something about this and did nothing?
Why didn't Trump do anything? Died on his watch.
Exactly.
They had all that information.
Exactly. And then it got handed to the
Do you
Democrats
want to know
and
why?
they did
They
nothing.
don't fucking want people to find out how shitty that our relationship probably is with people that we've allowed to do horrible things to young girls, so we
You know
can
what I
maybe
think it is?
honeypot them,
CIA was involved.
or the Mossad.
Or the Mossad. So, but an intelligence
Probably
agent.
more likely the Mossad because of the relationship with Ghislaine and her dad being a part of the Mossad and all that.
But it's an intelligence agency act.
Yeah.
And we are friends, like our CIA is friends with, the Mossad. There's probably this deep thing that goes in there that we don't want people to know how dirty our governments are.
Yeah.
And that's what's holding it up. But again, that's what's holding it up. It's not, well, Trump doesn't want to release it because
nobody, by the way, nobody, I don't think even Thomas Massey doesn't believe Trump's done anything. He wants to know why, though, you're covering everything up. If you're covering stuff up, it's for a reason. Well, I've never once thought that he did anything. I said the same thing about Clinton. I don't think they did anything.
I don't think he did anything.
But there are a lot of people that did, and they're probably high up. And by the way, Thomas Massey didn't name names today, but he was laying shit out there because he's seen some of the list. He goes, we got a movie star, we got a rock star, we got several billionaires, we got heads of state, we've got all these names on the list. He's not in former politicians. He said, why are you hiding everything? What is it?
You just said why. That's funny. People ask, why we have heads of state, we have politicians,
but
that's why they're hiding it.
So but we already know it's there. So let it out. Because why should I trust the head of
state? Are we right now trying to negotiate things with who would be, I don't know, England, and the prime minister's on it? I don't know. The point is there?
Yeah, but these are you got to think more of because it's not modern. I mean, he's been dead for a few years, and this shit's been, so it's not anybody. It's like what are we hiding with all of the last stuff with RFK that you've we've given you everything except for the 8 pages that you've redacted everything, which is, everybody's dead.
Well, but you know what? But the organizations that were behind it are not. So the fact that JFK might have had, the CIA might have had a hand in some of these deaths and some of this horrible stuff, the people that actually did it, gone. The organization and how it behaves probably still behaves the same way.
Then you know what? All the more reason to get rid of him.
I honestly believe that Epstein's dead, but if the CIA or the Mossad were part of that, it's still happening.
Yes, of course.
They're still doing it.
And what we're doing is we're okaying them using young women to our benefit.
Or to their benefit. But yes, we're tacitly giving
Tell me I don't want to be a part of fucking anything that has to do with that. If it meant that
Nobody wants to be a part of that.
If it meant our government fucking collapsed, I got no problem with that.
The good of the many outweighs the good of the few.
Nah, you know what? That is something I want no fucking part of. Because everybody can make that kind of, it's for, you know what? At the end of the day, the risk, as bad as it was in this situation, the benefit to us was much greater. I mean,
What if they know this list and they're quietly going and cleaning house and you'll never hear of it?
Because the people that would clean people on that list are probably the same people that clean the house.
We could get rid of anybody.
Yeah.
I think that if it's that kind of dastardly stuff, that they can quietly get rid of people, not destroy everything. Here's the thing. We think that we should meddle and know every little thing that happens in the government. I think that we should hold the government accountable, but I don't need to know every little thing. If they're like, we're taking care of things, taking care of it.
We never hold them accountable. Not fucking one time.
Well, what was it? They try.
Name a time the government was held accountable. They lie to us all the time. How many trillion?
He was impeached, and Watergate. What was his name? Nixon.
But they held him accountable. The powers that be held him accountable. But that's one time. How about George Bush and all the fucking lies to get us into wars we should never have been in?
Well,
How many millions of lives and trillions of dollars did we lose over
there's no
fucking
way
lie?
to hold that accountable. How would you do that? You would that would create a quagmire again. It's not worth it.
So what you're saying is, yeah, they can fucking do whatever they want, and we just got to fucking deal with it.
No, I'm saying that there's internally things can be handled.
But here's the thing: name one person internally in any part of government outside of a stooge who decided to take one for the team, but he was going to be rewarded in the end, that has ever been held accountable. Iran Contra, fucking come on. We were the fucking biggest drug dealers in the world.
Well, what about Fast and the Furious? There's all kinds of scandals that have happened.
Yeah.
They're not Obama murdered an American citizen with a
Yeah.
Hellfire drone hit. Oh well. Oh, oops, my bad. Nobody gets held accountable,
No.
but maybe internally, I'd like to believe that the things get held accountable. There's some things don't need to be show trials in front of the public. That
No,
some
we
things
don't.
need to be
Yeah,
quietly.
well, anything that's real is never held in front of the public. The public nowadays, especially, is for you to get likes and clicks and to raise money. And it's not about the person answering the question. It's about the person asking the question, and we all move on. The good stuff happens behind closed doors. But name a person that you thought that, oh, that guy went to jail for a very long time.
Well, didn't they like with child sex trafficking? It was like 100 and something so far that they've gotten in this year. Sex traffickers. Nobody cares because they don't really care about sex
No,
trafficking.
they
They
do
only care
care.
about Epstein.
No, well, yeah, but the difference is catching the guy from fucking, to catch a predator. That's great.
No. It was little rings.
Yeah,
They were rings.
but the thing is, the difference between if they were benefiting us, they fucking wouldn't have caught him. That's the problem. The problem is they were doing it without the consent of a big government that's willing to give them a thumbs up and say it's okay as long as
That's
it
a black pill.
Huh?
That's a black pill that the government will never change. That even now, even current administrations, or even Clinton's administration, Obama, I'm not sure, but even Clinton's administration, if he saw that kind of stuff, I think they would have put a stop to it. I think that the Trump administration, if they know it, they might not publicly do it. And the press, of course, will just whine and make bigger deals than things are. But they could privately say, CIA, knock it off. We
But
could put
but
people.
the CIA doesn't listen. The FBI,
You change the power structure, which is what they're trying to do.
Yeah, but then you put in stooges like fucking Valhalla. That would, dude, tell me that wasn't. Have you seen some of the memes?
I haven't seen who was Valhalla.
So Kash Patel at the press conference, so fucking weird. Kash Patel. I gotta be. I never thought he was good. I thought I had more hope with Pam Bondi, but she's freaking a clown. And she just give her job on Fox so we can all move on because that's what she really wants. And coming out and saying hate speech. There's no such thing as hate speech. Everybody knows that. But so he goes up and he does the press conference after last week and he says, and finally, to my friend Charlie Kirk, rest well, brother. We're on the watch. I'll see you in Valhalla. What?
Well, he's Indian.
Which doesn't have Valhalla because he's
that's
not.
Norse.
And Charlie Kirk is a Christian. He doesn't believe in Valhalla. And so, dude, all of the memes, all the AI are of, because Cash looks kind of goofy. They've got like helmets that are too big for him in Vikings. And he says that. And then they come up and they go,
Never saw one. You have to be, I think, in a certain subset of the internet to see that. Because when it comes to Charlie Kirk right now, no one's really making fun. Well, some people
they were making fun of because
nobody making fun around it.
It was so bizarre out of nowhere.
It is weird, by the way. I don't understand.
Like you're a Hindu, he's a Christian. Neither of you were Marines. So
well, that's not racist. It's about a warrior. And honestly, Charlie Kirk was a bit of a warrior. Was it ridiculous? Yes, but I get the sentiment.
No, stop it. That was stupid, and everybody knows it was stupid. And sometimes you just gotta look at somebody and go, "That was fucking stupid."
It's true, but never rely on the intellect of those people.
No,
that think it's stupid because you're like, I think
it's stupid, and I'm not fucking retarded.
Well, but I get a little bit of the Valhalla. I think it's dumb, but I get a little bit. He was a warrior. He was a cultural warrior. I'll see you in Valhalla. The whole point of that concept was the warriors would continue to fight. The fight goes on.
Yeah. Okay.
They
You
were
know what?
rewarded for their battles.
You're a dumbass. Don't do that. That was if I was Trump, I'd have called him. I don't know what you're doing, but you better stop because that was fucking retarded.
Well, you have to know your audience, and honestly, it's speaking
His
down to the
audience
lowest
is
common
only Trump,
denominator.
by the way. His audience is only Trump.
I guarantee you, all those people that make those memes had to figure out what Valhalla was. What is
No,
Valhalla?
no,
Is it
because
is that ice cream?
No, you want to know why? Because everybody's seen the show Vikings.
Maybe people don't show Vikings.
If you've seen the show Vikings, dude, you don't ever have to worry. It's like anything. Oh, I've seen that show Vikings.
Maybe,
But
yeah,
I
exactly.
was
Yeah,
watching it. I'm like, isn't he Hindu? Didn't he take like even the oath on the, the Hindu thing?
if they like, I'll see you exactly. He's Hindu, so maybe he didn't want to do a Christian blessing. I don't know.
What was the what's the one with all the arms? Ganesh?
Ganesh or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah. It's like
has like 6 arms. So
yeah, the elephant, yeah. So it was a bizarre like
it's a bizarre. No, I mean it's a bizarre. It's
but dude, you go look at because it was everywhere. Just because it was so when he goes
that's so funny.
It's even my buddy Chris, who does the show before me. Now, Chris worked up until 2 months ago. He had worked with Turning Point for years.
Oh, very cool.
And he looked at me and goes, Dad, I don't what? I can't even explain that. He goes, he's Hindu, right? I said, he is Hindu. He goes, what? Valhalla. And there's stuff that Marines, I guess, will mention. But
it's a warrior reference.
Yeah, but a Marine, dude, that's if you're a warrior and you're a Marine, that's great. That's
a cultural warrior. I think it was misplaced, but I get the warrior reference. Yeah. Charlie Kirk was very much a cultural warrior.
Okay. Whatever. He was the whole thing was you're just an idiot.
Exactly. Yeah, it makes me realize that it's Al my balls. We live in an idiocracy.
Oh my God, that's such
people want Al my balls. Now, if he got up there and said, Charlie Kirk, Al my balls. Brilliant.
No, nobody would recognize that because they've seen Vikings more than they've seen freaking, idiocracy.
Maybe. If he got up there and said, I
want to go to Starbucks.
Sleep rejects his dream to shuffle off this mortal coil. He did that. They'd been like, what? Nobody knows Shakespeare. Yeah. Especially something to be about a death or something like that.
Nobody knows Shakespeare at this point in time.
Exactly. The idea that
like you ever read like Shakespeare, you read it out, you're like, this is kind
of a person that knew how to eloquently speak for almost any situation. We no longer know because it's antiquated speech, but Shakespearean concepts are beautiful. We're all life. What is it? Life is a story told by a fool on a stage with sound and thunder signifying nothing. It's beautiful. And it's true. If people listen more to that, they'd realize that stop putting so much into yourself. You're not heroes. You're not here to save the world from Charlie Kirk. You're not here to save the world from anybody. You're here to be all singing, all dancing crap of the world, according to Fight Club. And that's what we're here for.
Quote.
So we did the whole gamut of quoting from a Shakespearean quote to
you went straight to what was that guy's name? Jim. Yeah. Used to every time you'd see him, you would freaking
I love
really like you wrote this. It's pretty awesome. They talked to you about it.
This was a really great movie. That's a really I really did like Fight Club. That was a great movie.
That was a great movie.
It was.
But there was a perfect example of men looking for some masculinity and men looking for a reason and a purpose. And now you take Fight Club and it's different because it's just all underground in the world of insidious web.
It is.
And the meme culture. And like you said, the game culture, dude. Was that the Helldivers 2?
Yeah, Helldivers, yeah. Luckily, the game culture is like the last bastion of kind of masculinity, because you're still allowed to make fun of people, trash talk people to an extent, which is kind of funny. Like I remember once I was playing Fortnite. Yeah, I know. Anyways, and I told people because my character was Hispanic, and I said that I should be allowed to win because DEI, and everybody has to just not shoot me. So everybody surrounded me in a circle and shot me at the same time.
That's good. You deserve it. I would have done the same thing.
And I thought exactly, but it was a joke. But I just thought it was funny because you're like, yeah, exactly, guys, exactly. I'm espousing ridiculousness that you hear and you accept in your colleges and in your workplaces, but it's dumb ideologies.
The problem is those people don't go to college anymore. They just sit at home, smoke weed all day, masturbate, and freaking play video games and talk about how they can't get women.
Which which is probably a better education than most college courses. If you saw what most colleges turn out, it's a little depressing.
Some are, yeah, there's no doubt. This guy went to college, the shooter, he went to college for a year, but then he's been in like a tech school for being an electrician. So
It's he probably was intelligent, which I think that he had to have been to have planned this.
and I also think, dude, we got a bunch of young kids, especially both men and women. They had that 4 years of fucking their life with COVID and the craziness and not being able to do stuff and stuck indoors and this, that.
Yeah.
That is, that is a tough we forget about the mental and side of it when we think about, falling behind because of education or not. But you forget about like even the young little kids who the first 2 years when they should be seeing their teachers' faces and trying to read facial cues, they didn't. Well, I mean, you got these kids who, they didn't have really a freshman year. They didn't get to go to prom. They freaking sports were all canceled. Their dancing and hanging out were all canceled. That's
The
that's a
entertainment
lot.
industry called it the COVID bump. And I'm like, that probably went everywhere. During the COVID time, mobile gaming, all this stuff was a bump. And I'm like, but what else? They didn't just play games. They didn't just go on Netflix. They went into the seedier side. They went into all kinds of things during COVID because they had nothing else to do. And I think that COVID was part of the radicalization thing because they sat at home. They weren't allowed to go out. They weren't allowed to really do anything. They played games, watched movies, and looked at echo chambers of ignorance.
And also, there was no other human interaction where you were hanging out with somebody else that was your age, and being able
Was
to,
it?
that's I mean, we were blessed because while we were in Arizona and, Arizona, like we had Sheriff Lamb out there, if you guys watch Live PD, and he's like, yeah, I'm not going to stop anybody from doing anything. I'm like, fuck yeah, right on, Sheriff Lamb. But we had my little brother, we had Jack, we had like 8 kids. So there was still a world of them being around a bunch of other kids, but there were other kids out there, man. They didn't,
Completely isolated.
it's just freaking, and in your teenage formidable years where you're already struggling with everything and now you're freaking stuck indoors, and that's a tough thing.
So the sad thing is your friends became your online gaming crew.
Yeah.
Your girlfriend became porn. And your social interaction and kind of news became, Twitter or Reddit or all that kind of stuff. You really were creating kind of a cesspool of how you twist a mentality.
Yeah.
Because what and also we missed bullying. Bullying is an incredible, not to a crazy extent, bullying is an incredible part of shaping a person.
Well, it's
When you
not
go to
bullying.
school and
It's
you're
not.
wearing something stupid,
Yeah.
they point it out.
Kids will fix the problem. I mean,
Yep.
again, not beating people up, but
No.
it's a hierarchy kind of thing. We don't let kids problem solve by creating their own games, coming up with their own rules, fixing the problems that go wrong. We're not talking about going up and beating up a kid and taking their lunch money or
No.
something like that. We're talking about the having people that will, like set straight this is, dude, you haven't taken a bath in 8 days, Pigpen, you smell.
Exactly.
Right? Like that. Okay. Well, then that kid goes, oh, okay, I better do that.
It's the fact that ridicule is a positive force on creating a society.
It can't be.
Because people that go outside of it come back in. You haven't taken a bath in 8 days and you're dressed like a tarantula because you play a game online and you think that's okay to come out in public. No, dude. Just be normal. And then of course we vilified the idea of saying normal. So now we've allowed people that had this crazy ideologies that were embedded in them during the COVID years to express those same things into the real world with no way to be ridiculed out of it.
Yes.
That creates just problems.
Yeah. Big time.
Dude, no, that's stupid. Don't do that.
You've got to have, we lost, a lot of, you and I always say Gen X has the best because we have both worlds. We lived as latchkey kids, running around, growing up, doing our own things, being out all the time with our friends, riding our bikes, freaking, doing all those things. And then we also ushered in the world where we have now. And so we had the best of both, where these kids have only ever grown up on the computer, on this, online, not seeing each other. Kids, it's just that's why, like when I do stories about all these schools now that are like, okay, we're phone free. And they go back a year later, and like kids are fucking happier than they've ever been. They
100%.
smile, they talk to each other, the grades are up, but what they have, it's they're not anxious.
It's because, again, there is a honing you do of your personality when you
Yeah.
need to fit into a group.
Yeah.
There's changes you make. There's things you do. If you want to just yell, spaghetti at the top of your lungs every 5 minutes because you think it's funny, the group tells you, dude, that's weird. And you stop it. Where if you don't have that, or if all of a sudden the teachers and the structure goes, no, he was born as a spaghetti yeller. You can't tell you anything
What's,
about him. He's a spaghetti yeller.
what's that religion? The flying spaghetti.
Flying spaghetti monster. Yep.
Yeah, that's a religion.
Yeah, even though it's an anti-religion religion, it's a
Yeah,
religion.
yeah.
Which
It's
is funny.
because they got a non-tax, they got a
Yep.
tax exemption. It's pretty cool.
With
So fucking
exactly.
the
Which
flying
is,
spaghetti. Do you have to wear a strainer on your head, right? Is that
I
the way?
think, yeah, it's actually ridiculous. It's funny.
Oh,
It's funny.
that's so. But you know what? I think we're missing. Like I said, there's a lot of this that a lot of people trying to point to left and right. Yeah, they may go get radicalized, but they're grasping at stuff already.
They've been primed to be radicalized.
Yeah, they're grasping at things. So, it's almost like they could walk in and go, I could go right or I could go left. All I know is I'm going to go one way or another, right? Or become a flying spaghetti monster, which would be, what's that happen? Well, like fucking he wears or it could become what's
Yeah.
it? We were talking about the other day, the Hare Krishnas. You don't hear much about
Oh,
those?
they fell apart. Really, you never hear of them anymore.
No,
In
no,
like the '60s, they were huge.
yeah, the things with the little hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi,
Well, you know what?
Krishna.
You're
Yeah.
not allowed to go to the airport anymore. Like that's where they made all their hay.
Oh, maybe that was it. Yep.
Remember them and the deaf kids that would come up and hand you something and they want you
Yep.
to buy it you're like, nope, not doing that.
Yeah, there's another example of this ebbing and turning of societal oddness. It happened, the hippies. When's the last time you saw a hippie? That was huge movement. People were hippies and they were named Moonflower and Dove Petal and all this stuff. And they were looking at their vibes and crystals. You don't really, I mean, of course they still exist, but it's very rare.
Well,
And it was a huge part of
there was a
society.
counterculture, but the counterculture became the baby boomers. And then you've got to, the problem is back in those days, right? You had the mods and the socias and everything was all kind of divvied up in a certain way. Now it's not. Everything's just all kind of like, but yeah, you don't have that kind of counterculture like you did back then.
Well, honestly, like they said, was it the guy from Sex Pistols said that he thinks the right's the new counterculture.
Yeah. Oh, Johnny Rotten. Yeah.
Yep.
That's
and they got mad at him for it. Not even that he's right wing. The point was, when you look at it, the right is the cool counterculture. You look at, like, I can look at these videos. These are not the videos posting, for like anti-Charlie Kirk stuff. These are not the stars of the world. These are not these are definitely the dredges of society.
These are definitely this at best, you're an ancillary character.
Very best. They're definitely NPCs.
If this was a horror movie, you're dying in the first act.
And you're like one of those crowd scenes, and you're not, when the Godzilla just steps on the crowd.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
if you look at it, like, they're not the prime players.
No, they're not.
And then I look at the people on the right, and like I was looking at, some of them were coming up because both things are on my feed. It was like dudes that, like, those beards, tough looking dudes. Like, you're like, okay, if a civil war really did break out, God forbid, but if it did,
never again,
it never has a chance. You've got the blue-haired fat dude that stays in his basement, but he's really good at Mortal Kombat or Modern Warfare, and a guy that actually works out. And
yeah, you got a guy that freaking graduated with his gender studies freaking major.
Exactly.
And he's $100,000 in debt, and he's LARPing around like he's part of Antifa, and he's going to start a civil war. Except he doesn't know how to load a gun, and so he's got a pipe, and he's going to go up against a guy that is, well, he's been raised on, like me, dude. I'm fucking 5'10", 220 pounds. I'm going to snap your fucking neck if you try that.
It was I don't know. I just watch a lot of sometimes crime footage from cameras, and it was just funny. There's two kids came in, well, not kids, but maybe 20, with a gun. And this guy in a MAGA hat turns around, grabs it.
Yeah. Oh, that
puts
guy
him on the ground. You see it? And then he drops the load out of the gun. You're like, that's what happens when boys confront men, or wimps confront, you know what I mean? And we need more of that. Less of the blue-haired people whining about, Palestine and trans rights. dude, just learn to become a real human. You're not here to save the world. You're here to make your world, which means your immediate family and immediate people around you, a better place. Because I can't help people in Swahili, but they think they can. I'm not going to use straws because I'm saving the environment. Shut up.
Because why? Because a 10-year-old in Canada said that there was a bunch of fucking straws in noses of turtles, which was never true.
Never true.
And
but
people
again,
go, now I have to go to California and try to drink a shake through a freaking paper straw that eventually just gives you a brain aneurysm.
Well, not only that, it just dissolves.
It just
I live in California. It's ridiculous. But again, it's not real. They believe things that aren't real and live their lives on that.
Based in reality. That was all based in feel good.
Whatever, everything that the left does is based in feel good.
A lot of it is.
I'm going to go out on a limb right here. Men aren't women, and women aren't men.
No.
Oh no, not that. That's a feel good thing that they believe in, but that's not a reality.
No, and I don't even think how many of them really believe it.
No, I was literally just watching a transgender guy becoming a girl, and he was explaining how he always felt like a girl, and he goes, "But let's make clear, I will never be a woman."
Yeah.
He's like, I want to live my life as a woman. I'm going through the surgeries, but I will not have ovaries.
But he recognizes he's never going to have a period.
I'm never going to be able to give birth.
He is not going to. He's not. Remember, was it freaking Mr. Hand? He was always talking about having his period.
Yep.
You're on your monthly.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not happening.
But you know what? That's respectable, because you're like, yeah, dude, you're not trying to change society to fit what you're doing. You're saying this is how I want to live. Okay, but reality exists. I'm a man that wants to live with a woman.
Okay, you can pretend that you're a feather, think that you're a feather, say that you're a feather, live your life as a feather, jump off a roof. Tell me how that works.
Yeah, because it exists.
Do you float?
But that's what I'm saying. I think that we've come to a point, and there's always a tipping point, which I think Charlie's Kirk death was, when they have to lay down reality again for Democrats and liberals. You guys have to conform to reality. We're not going to conform to you anymore, because you have everything based on falsehoods. It's time for us to go, nope, facts matter, reality matters.
Yeah, facts do matter. And I've
get your heads out of your asses.
I don't give a shit. I like facts. Facts matter. I don't care about all the and the thing is, the problem that the left pick, they abandoned their principles when they abandoned the middle class because they went to intelligentsia and thought they were the right thing to do. Trump was able to kind of come in there, but I mean, the reality is that freaking our politics is so corporatist anyway, so it doesn't really matter at this point in time. But they live in a world where they'll pick the worst fucking. You give them three choices: there's $1 billion in gold, right? There's immortality, or there's the worst thing you could ever do that's going to harm your party, and they're like, "We'll take that one, and we'll take a double helping of that one." And then they're in the position they're in, and they pick they're picking culture battles that they fail at over and over again because they don't live in a world of actual reality.
Even Fetterman's come out against his own party, which I thought was very interesting, because I'm like, yeah, you need to. They need to call out they need to police themselves, and they're not going to do it unless there's incentive to do that.
But and here's the thing with the incentive: there isn't any incentive in a major way, because the gerrymandering that we have done now in our politics is so bad that you don't have to really worry about if your shit or your ideas are stupid, because everybody hates the other side. So that you're not really being held accountable based on, you really need crazy shit to happen to see a swing in certain places.
And I think it just did.
Maybe. I mean, I don't think anybody's voting. I don't think California is turning freaking, red tomorrow. And I don't think Texas.
I don't think it's turning red tomorrow. I can literally say, living in California, that you can tell people, and when the conversations you have, there's, of course, it's not everyone. There's still so many lunatics here, but you can see that they're like, yeah, that was beyond the pale. Look at Bill Maher. Bill Maher is very clear. He's a leftist. He believes, he's a Democrat. He does not condone this in any way, shape, or form.
Well, he talked about it. He had Billy Corgan on the other day from the Smashing Pumpkins. He goes, Charlie sat right there. You know, I mean, Cenk Uygur talked about how they
And
become
Bill Maher's like,
friends.
we don't agree. Charlie and him didn't agree on almost anything. There's
Yeah.
some, but they're almost.
Yeah.
He did not ever want to see that man dead,
No.
and he thinks it's abhorrent the people that are celebrating and thinking that it's okay to think that it's good that that man died. That's a liberal.
Yeah.
That's
a
a really
classic
traditional liberal.
Yeah. That's a classic, almost libertarian.
Yes.
Point.
And it's hard, but I don't hear that coming out of the Democratic Party. I think that it's hopefully that's the start of it, but you need to hear more of that kind of talk. Oh yeah, you know what? You're right. If you don't like it, argue with him or walk away. That's what you do.
No, that's what you do. Again, I mean, you're not going to fix crazy and somebody who's bent on whatever the hell that's a tough thing to fix. But argue that conversation. Look, there's a lot of guys and gals in this business who say fucking shit. They stir it up. They say stuff that's ridiculous. They say stuff that's way over the line. Charlie wasn't that dude.
Not at all.
He wasn't that
very
dude. I mean,
milquetoast
he was strong in his beliefs, and he did have a lot of issues with what was going on in Palestine. He had a lot of issues with what was going on in Israel. That I think he had gotten to the point too where I don't know how much longer he was going to do this, because I think he was thinking about going hardcore into the ministry. Because I think the problem is he looked and he said, okay, kids are turning to the right, especially young men and some young women, but and the audience he reached, they didn't like what was going on in Palestine. They did not like that. But a lot of his donors, huge supporters of Israel, huge supporters of the IDF and all of this kind of stuff. So he's getting, hey, you better do this. You better put how dare you ask that? Like he asked that question on Patrick Bet David about, I've been to Israel. You can't go 3 steps around that freaking wall with that 19-year-old with a machine gun and nobody showed up for hours.
And what is it? It's an hour helicopter ride from one side to the other.
Yeah.
Israel's tiny. We don't realize it's a tiny little place.
Yeah. So he asked that and so he asked questions and he gave people the opportunity to come and go, look, criticizing Bibi Netanyahu and Smodrich and Ben Gvir and all these people is not Israel itself, or it's also not the Jewish people. But you can't say that. And they didn't like, man, I was listening to a guy yesterday he had been talking to him, and he goes, well, we were very disappointed the fact that he even gave voice to some of these people and allowed them. And you're like, dude, who the fuck are you, bro? Right? This is America.
Everybody can speak their opinion 100%. And you don't have to believe it or like it.
But that's how you have a conversation.
Yep. It's like Dave Smith. I think Dave Smith is very intelligent, very interesting. I think he has a little bit of Jew derangement disorder, just like Candace Owens, because they all say
he is a Jew. First of all, he's a big
Jew killed Charlie Kirk, and I'm just like, okay.
Dave doesn't believe that.
But Candace Owens, those kind of people. I think there's a little bit of Jew derangement disorder.
Does Candace really believe that? No, Candace likes to stir the shit, right?
But that's weird.
Candace likes to stir. Well, why? Because like the whole dude. It's weird that she freaking went on for how long about Macron's wife having a fucking dick.
She was a documentary or something like that on
anything.
And it's meaningless. Let's say it's true. Let's say Macron's wife really is a man.
Does Putin back out of freaking,
exactly?
Ukraine? It's like, if that's true, she better grow a freaking schwanz.
Exactly. Candace Owens, which I do like, but I think has latched onto things in a weird way, which again, I don't know if I don't really think it's chasing the money. I think people get this weird ideological foothold on things and refuse to give it up. It's like a pit bull when they grab onto something. Right now, she is grabbed on to Jews, kind of behind everything, and something happens to a friend of hers, and she still wants to blame the Jews. That's weird. That's just weird to me.
Well, yeah,
I'm like,
I told my wife, I said, look, I don't think the Jews did it. I don't think Bibi did it. Do I think that they were devastated by it? No, because the fact is, Bibi sees the writing on the wall. Look at every single poll. Everybody under the age of 50. First of all, the Holocaust is long ago. They don't study it. They don't follow it. They don't look at it the way.
They probably don't even know what it is.
Well, they know, but that's not top of the mind. They're not watching, the World War II channel at night. That's long gone. they're seeing this and going, okay, well, yeah, what happened to you is bad, but I'm seeing 12-year-olds get 5-year-olds get blown up and shit. I don't think that's really good either. So, and you're doing it with our money, and you're doing whatever you want. You bombed a fucking ally of ours.
Qatar, what was it? I forgot.
Yeah, yeah.
There comes a point when Israel now had that bloodlust. I'm gonna go back to Warcraft, bloodlusted orcs, but you know they were crazy. Now they're just gonna go. They've been harmed, and so they're just going balls out to the wall.
Yeah.
And they're killing it and doing everything.
But you go and you look and you think, okay, well, I want to know all the story, right? So like nobody's here defending Hamas. What they did was fucking horrible and awful.
Yeah.
But I want to know all the story about this. Like you go and you see, like the other day, so the meeting that they had to start the Iran war, in the the minutes and everything came out. He says in it, well, they're not real. Iran's not really a threat to us. They're years away from actually getting anything that's deliverable. So you lied so we'd bomb something for you. Then you bombed Qatar, who we have how many expats there? But let's not forget we have CENTCOM and 10,000 American men and women service people, and
Which
you
were not
bombed
harmed.
it. Huh?
Which were not harmed, though.
But it doesn't matter. You did it, but they're allowing us on. Everybody's like, somebody else said that today. I'm like, you're right. You know what, though? If I'm them, fuck you, America. China's our friend. They wouldn't let that fucking happen to us because all of us here are sick and tired of those guys running your fucking world. We'll be just as cozy with them without having to worry about the shit.
I don't think it's going to happen, but yes, I see what you're saying. I think what Israel is doing is leave us alone forever. We are showing you have no chance against us. We have America's military might, which means everything else is playing with basically slingshots.
Why do I have to cover your ass? Why do you have to go pick a fight?
We already sold that stuff to them. They own our jets. They own our equipment.
Their jets, though, Paul. Here's the thing: without us, they're done. That stuff doesn't last forever, and nobody else is selling them weapons, and they don't want anybody else's weapons. So. You could say it's the greatest gun in the world, but it's only got 6 bullets. After your 6 bullets, if you ain't getting another awesome, great bullets and nobody else is selling you those bullets.
I agree, but that's what I think that's what I honestly believe is happening. Give us our space, never touch us again. You have no chance against us. Leave us alone.
Nobody was. Jordan's not attacking them. The Houthis,
October 7th, they were attacked.
Yes, but you know what? 3 weeks earlier, do you know what Israel did? They shelled them and bombed Palestine. Nobody talks about that. They give as good as they get. They act like we're always the victim.
Wait, they shelled Hamas?
Yeah, they shelled Hamas 3 weeks earlier. Did you hear about it?
No, but why shouldn't they shell Hamas? They should always. I don't think they should hit innocent people.
Everything's Hamas to them. It's a turtle. It's Hamas.
Well, but I don't think they should sell like a hospital. But if they want to shoot Hamas, I have no problem with that.
But the thing is, but Bibi claims everything. Have you ever noticed that? It's like, oh yeah, there's freaking, if it was the CBS Evening News and they blew them up, he'd be like, those guys were Hamas.
But the problem is, nobody has denied the fact that Hamas built tunnel networks all under their territory, including hospitals, including schools.
Who paid for that?
Hamas.
No, who paid
us too? By the way, we gave money too, and nobody cares that we gave money that allowed them to build terror tunnels.
We gave it to Israel, and Israel gave it to them.
We also gave it to Hamas.
Yeah. Well, does anybody else find that weird?
And nobody cares that we gave money to Hamas.
To continue to give money to them. Qatar came out and said, we're not doing this anymore. He sent people over a couple weeks before and begged them to because he thought he could control them. And everybody inside the government's like, this is going to fucking end poorly. This is going to.
You couldn't control them. They're a terrorist organization. So if Israel wants to kill all the terrorists, I literally have no problem with that. If they want to kill the Houthis, which have been terrorizing the shipping lines because they're our terrorist group, kill them. No, don't kill just the random people. But if you want to target Houthis, you want to target Hamas, kill them.
But they decide everybody's Hamas. That's the problem. Hamas was never 65,000 strong, even by their own estimates. For every 10 people killed, 9 of them are civilians. That's worse than Dresden.
Are there still Jewish hostages alive? I'm not so sure there are. They say
I don't think maybe a few. Dude, I got to be honest with you. And they've said that, they said this the other day in Haaretz, because they were talking to a few of the other hostages. They were more worried at times about Israel, because Israel would decide, okay, there's Hamas over here, so they bomb, and because they didn't know where all the hostages were.
And I
And
trust the hostage that's being beaten and tortured and raped and all that stuff to tell me the exact truth when they're being interviewed
no,
in their dungeons.
that wasn't them. That was them back in Israel being
That they
interviewed.
thought that Israel would kill them. Well, that might be true,
No,
because
they thought
Israel's
it was
targeting
not
them.
that Israel was going to kill them, but just, hey, we think Hamas is over there, and there may be. They don't know, so you just bomb it.
But if Hamas really, like, one of the things I always thought was weird, if Hamas really didn't want to fight, give back the hostages. That's one of Israel's main things. Give us the hostages. If they did that and Israel still bombed them, I would look a lot different. But when they still defiantly go,
Here's the thing:
no.
but they'll do it. Israel has, every time they get something they want, they go and do it again.
So let's prove it. Give them back the hostages and let's see what happens.
I don't even know if there's any live hostages, though.
That's what I think has happened. I think that personally, because I don't think Hamas is even that stupid.
No, and
they'd be, oh, you're going to stop? Like, at least try it. I'm going to give you the hostages. What does it help me?
well, yeah, they're still gonna, even if you gave them back, Bibi's not stopping. That's already,
But
it's
there's
over.
that one hostage. Remember, they shot her in the hand. They kept her underground. They raped her every day. It was just a horrible story.
Yeah,
because they're such good people. And you're like, okay, they did give her back, and she tells horrendous stories.
yeah, of course.
What if the hostages are so tore up because these people are savages that's one of the reasons they're not giving back? Because if you give back tore up people, I think the Jews would even destroy them more. They'd start bombing them more. Like, oh, Ted only has 1 foot now, and no arms.
So it is, well, but Israel's done some shit, dude. Did you see all that every one of their people they'd taken into custody, the abuse that they did to them? And these were, people that some of them, they said, you guys are Hamas, and, like a 12-year-old. And so both have done some shit, but Bibi, it doesn't matter. Bibi's not stopping. And Schmodrich said yesterday, this is prime real estate, and America and us are going to take it.
We should. 100%. We should, just like we took Germany and split it in half between Russia and America, and Germany's now a powerhouse.
No, you know what? I don't fucking want any of that, because it's fucking, I want no part of that.
Look how good South Korea's turned out. Look how good Germany's turned out. Look how good Japan's turned out. Without our intervention, because everybody is a ship of fools, you're not going to have a good result. The only reason Japan is one of our closest allies and Germany is a powerhouse economically and South Korea is amazing is because we went in there and said, okay, assholes, time to become civilized.
And we went in there, here's the thing. If we go and do that and we displace 2 million people, we basically ethnically cleanse them, because they're taking over the West Bank too, which, by the way, Hamas is not in the West Bank. That's the Palestinian Authority. So stop pretending that you're just doing this for whatever. This is what you want to do. Go ahead. So you want to have this permanent thing, and us being a part of this, do you think that makes us more of a friend or less of a friend? And do you think people, they've already, watch what happens when everybody goes, maybe China's going to have a better opportunity for us. Yeah,
because we know how China treats Muslims and Uyghurs and stuff. Islam is outlawed in China.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that if they want to snuggle up to China, that'd be interesting, because China thinks it's a mental disorder, according to the Chinese.
But you know what? China doesn't give a shit. Look at all the countries they fund that are full of Muslims, because to them it's always about, here's a bunch of free shit. One day we're going to come ask you for something.
There's no benefit other than maybe if they're not going to make a deal with the Saudis. They're not going to make a deal with people that have the law of the oil. China has no benefit in siding with Palestinians. None.
The benefit, no. The thing is, the benefit for not the Palestinians, but the rest of the people around there who look and say, wow, because if America is going to be fine with them, why should Israel stop there? Why not
the
take
rest of the people that won't even let Palestinians into their countries because they don't like them? Now, they do lip service, but they don't let them in.
Because they can't afford it, Paul. Jordan is so fucking broke, dude. They've already got like 2.5 million Palestinians.
Dubai couldn't bring in some Palestinians? That's one of the richest places on earth.
Yeah.
You think Qatar? Like, it's funny, even Saudi Arabia, you're talking about very wealthy countries in that region, and they're not letting them in? And I always think it's weird. They're not putting food flights over to them. They're not doing anything.
They won't allow it, dude. Dude, there's no way that Saudi Arabia would ever be able to allow them to have anything.
Well, so the
And
Saudis won't let
they
it.
have been actually. They've been doing the drops, but they would never allow that. I mean, you can't even fish.
If China was going to make that move, these countries had to really be not lip service before Palestinians, and they're not. They do it to lip service and because it sounds good to their
Anything to
region.
piss us off and to stretch out, because here's the thing, China, outside of Iran, they don't really have a footprint in the Middle East.
They don't, and they're losing their footprint in Africa.
So, but
I've heard there's a lot of moves happening on our side that's helping to take back a lot of what they've gained. China's not the superpower we act like it is. There is no economically
no,
or especially
no. And they're decades behind us when it comes to freaking like there was always the talk they're going to catch up. They're never going to catch up to us.
They're not going to catch up. So the idea that America is the only one that can really project power like we do. Like Venezuela declared war. We don't even care. Nobody cares. Venezuela declared war in America, and people are like,
Venezuela declared war.
Look it up. Venezuela declared war, and nobody cares. America doesn't care. Oh,
now,
cool.
did they declare war? I mean, on because they're going to declare war on Guyana. That's the next thing they're going to.
That's I think the next thing. But what do they have? They have like 2 boats, and like maybe 10 planes, and like we're like we don't really care.
No, they haven't declared war on any country. You're on drugs, dude. I don't know what you're reading. Whatever it is, it's not real.
I saw that. Well, maybe they're not officially declared war.
Yeah, no.
But he's training the 4.5 million militia fighters.
They have a, but
so maybe what I saw was more rhetoric about declaring war as opposed, and they don't talk English, so I don't know, but declaring war as opposed to a declared war.
And Trump,
but still, no one cares. They're training their militia.
Trump's thinking about a regime change.
You know what? That wouldn't be bad. Those people are very good. Why?
We're 0 for 23 in regime change.
Where? Because all of South America regime changed, and other
all to shit.
Argentina, which went crazy because they got left wing nut jobs. Isn't Argentina got left wing nut jobs in charge?
Yeah, we are. I think it was. We were looking at this yesterday with Mike Lyons. That we have a horrible deal when it comes to regime change. We have not done well.
We did. That's the whole Banana Republic thing. We regime changed all through South America, which is why
and how'd that work
the
out
problem South America has.
Let's see here. How has it worked out? Okay, here we go. You ready for this? Okay, Latin America, Guatemala, Chile, Brazil, Nicaragua, Panama, Iran, Iraq, Libya, Congo, Vietnam, Indonesia, Afghanistan. 70 attempts from 47 through now. Well, that's just from 47 to 89. From 90 till now, another 15 in total. And let's see here. How many of them, their outcomes were good? Backfired. Iran, Iraq, Libya, Afghanistan. Chile was a 50-50. Guatemala, not good.
Well, wait a minute. Iraq backfired how? Because apparently I'm being told 2 sides of the mouth. One, they didn't really have mass destructions. They really didn't do anything. It was a lie that got us into that war. So our regime change, if it was all lies that we went to attack them, they didn't do 9/11, which is true. The Saudis did.
They didn't do 9/11.
They didn't do 9/11. They didn't have weapons of mass destruction.
No.
We lied to go to war with them.
Yes.
How did that regime change fail? We decided to kill them after changing their regime. But
because
it was all lies.
Their fucking country fell apart into a mass civil war that cost the life of millions of people. And out of that, we left there trillions of dollars, men and women killed on both sides, and a country that is still kind of a freaking cesspool that at any given moment could go sideways.
But that was from the last war. Saddam Hussein was a regime change. We put him into power.
Yeah, and then we took him out.
But he didn't do anything against us while he was in power. Apparently, it's been lies we're told that he was doing anything against us. Yeah. We changed the regime, and then we lied to kill him. He
We
wasn't a
changed
good
the
guy, by the way.
regime because he wanted to kill, allegedly, George Bush's dad.
It was lies, but he kept most of the like the ISIS and those kind of
He
groups under
kept
control.
crazy out. Dude, crazy keeps crazy in.
Casey kept, and honestly, he helped keep terrorist organizations from
Yeah.
flourishing.
Yeah, he did. And by the way, Christianity was big there.
So that regime change were lied to tell that he was going to attack things. He was going to do things he wasn't.
Yeah.
So that regime change, actually, I don't see how they're saying that was a failure. America decided to change regime and then go in and kill the guy that we put into place.
So we didn't do the regime change when, with the Ba'ath Party and him originally. That wasn't like, we didn't have the upper hand, because remember, we also were doing shit with Iran.
Yep.
Because we decided, hey, that oil, that could be our oil, so we're going to give you guys the Shah.
Well, wasn't there also because Russia was trying to fight him and we kept giving them Iran-Contra? We kept giving them weapons.
Yeah.
Because we were against Russia.
So,
or the Soviet Union back then, or whatever. Yeah.
We had to pay for those things with drugs. So there was that. So we
yeah.
Yeah, I really don't. I'm not a fan. I think we do some stuff there with ours.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying that if we do it right, then we have South Korea, Germany, and Japan as our examples.
South Korea, Germany, and Japan aren't the same.
Well, the cultures are different.
Doing here. We defeated them in war. And we said, this isn't going to happen again. This is the way you're going to survive. We didn't go in there when they were just, had their issues and we wanted their stuff.
But why can't Israel do that? We did that. And we set up camp and multiple times. Israel's fighting the West Bank and the Gazans and Hamas. And they say, we're going to go in and fix this. So they're basically saying what America did.
They're not going in there to do a regime change. They're going there to eliminate everybody and just take over the land. They're conquering
over those countries. South Korea was basically ran by, so was Japan and Germany at the time.
Yeah, because we had destroyed them. We'd bought. Yeah. It just wasn't us. It was fucking everybody.
Yeah, but we destroyed them.
Shit out of it. But we were at war. We were at war.
Israel's at war.
But we didn't stay. We didn't go, we're going to take all of Japan and we're going to make it ours forever.
We made it ours for quite a while.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Hong Kong was Britain's for how long? There are good examples if we go in there in force and make sure that
I don't want to do fucking more wars, because we're only doing this for money. We're not going into Venezuela because we're worried about their drugs. They have no drugs. They don't even do any of the stuff that the lies that they're being told. That the amount of drugs that come through Venezuela is so minuscule, according to everybody, including our DEA. If we want to worry about fentanyl, we should go to Mexico and we should go to China.
And that's if you're playing checkers. But don't you think that our military is like, okay, if we want to cut off Mexico's trade, Venezuela is a good launching point for that side of Mexico?
No. Venezuela doesn't do anything.
No, it's a good launching point.
To do what?
To strike into Mexico.
We're never going to go into Mexico or China. We're never going to do that, because the minute we go into Mexico, it's a war. And once you get into that point, well, then they're our big trading partner.
We never went into Cambodia either.
But we did. How'd that work?
Yeah. Well, you know what?
It was a fucking massive disaster that cost the lives of 2 million people.
But it doesn't mean we don't do it. We've never been we never fought inside Cambodia. Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So your whole thing is like,
my whole thing is again, we started this about how the CIA does dirty things and the government does dirty things. The idea that we take over Venezuela because it's in close striking range to send steel teams or whatever to kill,
because it's in close striking range. Nothing gets closer than what we already have down in the south of the border. We could take them out with anything. We're going there because they've got the largest oil reserve on the planet, and next to them is Guyana that has one of the largest light sweet crude oil reserves that they just found. And Venezuela, it's like, oh, we should take some of that. We're going over there because the oil companies want us to, not because we care about fucking the drug war.
And that guy is such a nice guy, and his people are treated so well.
Fuck, dude. Why do I have to care about what somebody else does? That's their problem, right?
Yep. And what you just said is America first. I don't care about them. They
Yeah.
got the largest oil field. Ours.
No. Well, then why don't we just go over to Saudi Arabia, fucking kill all of them? Then we'll go to China and we'll kill all of them.
Because Saudi Arabia was already set up by Chevron.
So, yeah, but why not just take it all? That way, OPEC, we never have to worry about ever again.
We don't kinda.
Yeah, we
We
kind of
do
do.
what we want.
No, we kind of do. We had, if they want to, they can always freaking
If
slam
they
on
want
us.
to, but mostly they seem to go along with America. So that's
So,
why we don't. That's why I think we don't. They were set up by Chevron. They already Chevron made, it's not like they made the oil wells. Chevron, if you look back at how it started, Chevron made all these deals with them.
yeah,
They made the oil wells and the
I know
infrastructure.
how. But the thing is your whole thing is, well, it's America first. Well, that's like the dumbest thing in the world, dude. I don't want to get in any wars. What happened to America first? Like staying out of all of everybody else's business.
I would have to be convinced that there's no way, one, there's an ancillary benefit of oil, but two, there's no way Venezuela contributes to any way to helping us stop the drug trade.
Paul, there is nothing about Venezuela. First of all, the Colombians and stuff, they don't want to run drugs through there. And the reason is simple, because it's an unstable place. So it doesn't benefit them any. Secondly, when you talk about the amount of drugs that come, Colombia still blows them away. 90% of what's coming out of South America comes out of Colombia and Peru. When it comes to fentanyl, 90% comes from Mexico, and 100% of the other stuff that puts the fentanyl together comes from China.
And Venezuela's on the map. We could strike Colombia very easily.
We can strike Colombia now.
Not unless people knew it. We can't send a cruise missile over without everybody
We're not
knowing
going to take over an entire fucking. At what point do you want to go, okay, so we're going to go take Colombia because why?
No, we're going to kill the drug people in Colombia. Just like we didn't bomb Cambodia. We sent Green Berets and
We're not going to freaking
teams in.
bomb freaking Colombia. We're not going to
No,
freaking kill their
we
drug.
didn't bomb
dealers.
Cambodia. We sent SEAL teams in. We sent strike forces in because we were right there on the border and it was easier for us to get in. Could they set up camp in Venezuela, strike into Colombia, kill all the drug people? It's a question.
Yeah. What do you think's going to happen tomorrow? Are we staying there forever? I'd like to know, because if we're not, then tomorrow, what's going to happen is new people are going to fill the vacuum.
Which always happens. New people fill the vacuum, but
Yeah.
what does it buy us? It buys us a time to try and shore up how we deal with things internally. Again, what the cartel said, which is you have to agree 100%. If if Americans didn't want our drugs, we wouldn't have a market.
That's it. Yeah.
If you keep, even for 5 years, drugs at this level out of Americans' hands, maybe we'll get a brain and stop wanting them so much.
Well, or maybe, let's not forget that that's also, man, the freaking big pharma would love that. They're like, we can be the only drug dealers. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
The reason that people have fucking a lot of this stuff when it comes to fentanyl is because a lot of these people were sold shit by the Sacklers that it's non-addictive. They went in for a fucking knee surgery, and 3 years later, they're fucking doing hand jobs in the park for money, and they've lost their entire family. And so
that's not the new drugs. The new drugs are these drugs, because I see it. We drive by, there's those people doing that weird zombie thing.
Yeah, that's the fentanyl stare.
It's that weird. Yeah, it's creepy,
dude. I see it all the time. There's several people living in the park, especially when the summertime comes around, and they're doing the sway, right? They're talking to freaking.
Sometimes it just bends over, and you're gonna fall, aren't you, at some point?
No,
they don't. They're just like frozen.
All that being said, though, dude, you look around and you're like, why do I have to go fight everybody's drug wars? We've already done that. Drugs have won.
Drugs have won. What's funny? It's not like these drugs are new.
No.
But again, it goes back to problems in our society that exactly. We need so many drugs.
It's freaking, if the reasons people buy Doritos is because they want Doritos. If nobody wanted Doritos, nobody would sell Doritos.
I love Doritos. Look at me, I love Doritos. But if they said Doritos are outlawed, okay, Cheetos. I don't care. It's this weird obsession with needing to get high. And so, like, if they go, guess what, cocaine, whatever, fentanyl, it's illegal. I'm a fat guy. You outlaw French fries tomorrow, and I'm like, fine, I don't care. It's not like my life isn't French fries. You go, liar, Paul. No, it really isn't. I will go and get potato chips, whatever. I will, what is in the brains of these, or the tiny brains in these people that think that, oh, I
Well,
know it's illegal, but
some
I
of it
still
is
need it.
mental health, like a lot of what we see out there in the streets. Some of it is, they're addicted for some of them is, like you said, not all these people started out on the streets. Not all these people, there's a lot of
No.
it. They got stories. You find out that they were living a normal life and they got caught up. And, I don't know how many times you start talking to somebody. It's like, so you were in a car accident, your back hurt. And, a year and a half later after taking the shit, you're out in the streets. And so there's some of that, but it's as long as people have a choice to live their life, they're going to make fucking stupid decisions. We can't nanny state them everywhere. I mean, let's be
It was a
real, dude.
cultural change. It really was the 60s when the drugs, drug, sex, and rock and roll became this thing, this
Yeah.
mantra.
But the drug, sex, and rock and roll was let's have sex, let's smoke weed. It wasn't like let's fucking shoot up.
But that is that slippery slope, which everybody goes, that doesn't exist. 100% does. Drug, sex, and rock and roll was actually not that big a deal back then because it was marijuana.
Yeah.
It was, you know what I mean? It was like it wasn't. And then all of a sudden, when you open that door and culture starts accepting that kind of stuff, marijuana to heroin. Heroin's the
People
end
are
of that.
always going to
It's
look
not the
for, they're always going to look for the next thing.
next high, next thing.
But you go like if we were, let's be real. If we were serious about any of this, alcohol would be banned for good. Alcohol's the number one thing. That
It's
thing
another
kills.
cultural problem.
So what?
That's another cultural problem. The
Yeah.
idea that people need to drink. I love a good drink. I do not need to drink. I
Yeah.
don't understand that. I'm fat because I love good food and I have the money to indulge my stupid good food appetites. If I lost the money or anything else that happened, I don't have to have the fancy food. I'm not going to go to a dark alley and get like some
You don't know that.
caviar from this guy, in a dark alley
That'd be
that's
fucking
illegal.
hilarious if you
Yeah.
did. Uh-huh. But
It's not going to happen.
but people want those. Everybody wants the stuff that they're not supposed to have.
But again, to me, it's a mindset. If you made Wagyu beef, outlawed, oh God, don't do it. But if you did, I'm not going to dark alleys in these little clubs underneath, things to get some Wagyu beef.
No, but you know what? If you had a chance to maybe go somewhere one night that was quiet, like a freaking speakeasy, and they were serving Wagyu beef, you may not say no. It's everybody, they all think they're handling it. They all think they could do it. It's just we've got a problem here, and the consumption problem is a big problem in our country.
It's because we're selfish.
We're selfish. We're also, there's a lot of things that goes into it, but that they wouldn't sell it to us if we didn't want it.
100%, exactly. So
by the way, America, if they were
on
smart,
both sides,
America would go all of these fucking groups and say, we're having a meeting. Here's the deal. We're going to pay you double what you're getting off the street, and you're going to sell it to us. Or we're going to fucking blow you. What's the old saying?
blood or gold?
No, like the silver or the lead,
Yep.
A plume or the plan, whatever it is. It's the same thing. There you go. And they sell it to us and then let everybody, you want this stuff? You're going to have to come through us. We're going to make your life miserable because we're the government. We're going to fuck it up anyways. But they got to try something new because I am 54. I remember when as a kid, it's like, say no to drugs. Drugs won. The war on drugs is over.
Drugs.
Yeah. The war on drugs won. And by the way, our government was one of the biggest drug dealers.
Well, yeah, I think it's kind of proven now.
Yeah.
But again, it's society. You can put cocaine in front of me, and I'm not going, oh, that's great. I'm just going to take it. I don't want to. Now, well, maybe if it's really fun, I don't know. But I know, I mean, I don't want like, dude, take this heroin. No. But it's free. You can have, and I got more for you, and it's all free. No, I don't want it.
Yeah.
It's not because it's just why do so many people in our society want to escape it so badly?
Life is hard.
That's what drugs do.
Yeah, life is hard. People, and it goes back to sometimes it's mental health across the board. Sometimes they start with drugs and it ends up at mental health. But why do
We
people
have a
try to
family
explain?
member that, got tied up in a lot of those opioid drugs, and,
You do?
yeah, we
Oh,
do, and, messed up his life, um, but I never understood it because when I hurt my knee, I hurt it bad. I got tore something. I got those opioid drugs, and I remember taking it because I have pain, but going, "If I didn't have pain, why on earth would I wanna take this?"
yeah.
All it does is numb the pain and, it makes you sleep nice. But what is people are like, "Oh, I need to get my opioid drug because
Well,
I need to."
because at some point it goes from being an addiction to a necessity for your
Okay,
body
I don't
because you're
I never
reacting in
understood.
such a way.
I had no problem when my pain was gone. I don't wanna take them.
Yeah, but if you were taking it every day for months
I
and then
took it
your
every day
body
for quite a
craved
long
it
time. It
and
was
then
about a month.
you couldn't get it, like, and what are they giving? They're giving you, like, some Tylenol with codeine. They're not giving you
They
fucking they
gave me
want you to
something
use
good
opioid.
because I'm a big fatty, so they gotta give something get through
Yeah,
all
look at
to get
getting
through
up.
the whole system.
So, but, it's look, we got a drug problem and they're just filling a need.
They 100% are. They 100% are, and if we tomorrow, if they go, "Nah, we don't want it anymore," there's no markets for them to make money on.
No, so they
It'd
would
be
move it
pity
somewhere
Annie
else.
markets, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? It'd be these
but
tiny little.
this whole, like, we're going here because of how dangerous Venezuela is and Trinidad is such a tiny gay that's like America taking on the Crips in Long Beach, saying that they're gonna take over it's an excuse, and you're not serious because if you're serious, you're gonna go to the Sinaloa cartel or the freaking
Which
Nuevo
may happen next.
Generation. Yeah. Well, I don't
So
think it
I'm
is.
not but, Trinidad, they're bad people.
They're bad people. They're
I do
all
not shed a tear if all of a sudden they get put out of
no,
business or.
but here's the thing, they're all bad, except don't use them as the face of evil when you're saying we're gonna stop them from dealing drugs. They don't even deal drugs here. At best, they're very small, low-level dealers. They're not moving weight.
But
The
don't we
weight
have to
comes
start
from the
somewhere?
Sinaloa cartels.
Shouldn't we start somewhere? Shouldn't we start building out this dismantling of this drug infrastructure at some point? And if at that point happens to have a benefit of oil, why not start at that point?
Well, that's insane, dude. Because we're not supposed to get into freaking the whole goal is not to get into freaking more shit.
But it's
I
not a real
thought I was
war.
promised this guy wasn't gonna get us in any more wars.
That's not a war. They can't fight us. It's
So,
like we didn't go to war with Iran. We dropped bombs on them, and there's nothing they could do.
no, we didn't, and you know why? Because every and I don't think people realize this. If there was a war with Iran, this is not fucking the Houthis. This is a military that has millions, and they are strapped, and they will throw down, and it is
And we are
a
an alien race compared to them. Our military infrastructure and equipment
Paul,
is.
you're talking about the nuclear if we put boots on the ground, there will be tons of
We
casualties.
wouldn't need to put boots on the ground. We literally are basically flying saucers, and they're
But we're
flying
not gonna
biplanes.
eviscerate them like that because you go and eviscerate them like that, then again, why not just do it to all the Middle East and take everything they have? Because now
Don't
what you're
tempt us.
having but now what you're having, though, is the rest of the nations that are going, "Well, why should we trust Israel? Why should we trust America? Get you guys out of our fucking bases. Get out of here. We can't trust you people."
But they don't usually like those people anyways. The
No, they don't
Saudis
like the
do not
leaders.
like
They
the
don't like
Iran.
the leaders of Iran.
The
The
Saudis don't
people
like Iran because Iran wants to kill the Saudis.
well, the leaders do.
Yeah.
They do, but the fact is the average like, dude, there's go look at when you go look at Tehran, it's like freaking parts of it looks like you're in
Oh, yeah.
Spain.
No, it's but America doesn't bomb the main cities. We bomb every military installation, we'd take out their ability to wage war. We wouldn't kill just we're not gonna carpet bomb Tehran. That's, hey, I don't know. If push came to shove, we could do that. We probably wouldn't even blink twice. They couldn't do anything to stop us. Our military tech is absolutely
Yeah, but you're
phenomenal.
thinking they couldn't do anything to stop us. You ask any military person, the missile they didn't shoot anything at us that we didn't know was coming.
They couldn't.
No, they can. They figured out rather quickly how to get around all of the stuff that they could have come harder at freaking Israel and blown a lot of shit
Oh,
up.
maybe Israel, yeah.
But they can also come at us at Qatar. They can also come at us all over the places and get us in ways that would cause tens of thousands of people to be injured and probably a lot of our military people to be hit.
But
We
they
may
know
beat them up.
that'd be end of their civilization. They're not that dumb. Because they can't fight us toe to toe. Like you were right, they could cause some damage, but at the end of the day, they can never hit the
Yeah, but are
homeland.
you willing to watch men and women get killed by our soldiers get destroyed over something that we don't need to be involved with? Dude, Iran is no. You could give them 5 nuclear bombs today. They're not fucking a threat to us.
North Korea. They'll become North Korea overnight.
What does North Korea do? They
Threat
don't
the
even.
only reason we're the only
North
reason
Korea.
that guy
You know they do not have a bomb that actually works. They have nuclear
their bomb
material.
can
But
only
they
hit South Korea, basically.
don't know how. They don't even know if they can fucking hit South Korea. There's a good chance that shit would fucking just take off and land straight down. They do not have a mechanism to deliver anything.
And they should never get it.
No.
And talk about a regime change. That guy treats his people horribly. They're starving. If they didn't have a nuke, we would have totally made the greater South Korea. And it would have been better for it. All of Korea would have been united.
We would have been at war with China.
You don't think it would have been a better if North Korea was treated like South Korea, those people would be living better lives.
No, yeah, that sounds great, Paul, but it's never going to happen. China will never allow that to happen because that means that the US is at their doorsteps a la NATO. They're never going to allow that to happen.
We've already surrounded the whole world.
So,
because people I ask, like, who else has military bases scattered throughout the entire world?
correct.
Nobody.
But that also makes us, that also freaking costs a lot and it's freaking makes us, we can
Dangerous.
be anywhere, but we're also, that sounds, but China's growing theirs quite well.
Well, they're trying to take over Taiwan. They're trying to do things, but they laugh. They said, didn't China have a sub that sank?
Yeah, they did. They didn't know how to.
And didn't 2 of their boats just collide not too long ago?
Yeah, again, China, I'm not worried about.
I'm like,
I'm not really worried.
Well, maybe if they can make sure their subs don't sink.
Chad, North Korea has detonated nukes and sent ballistics. They don't have the setting those things. I was talking to the guy, our buddy Mike Lyons, who does my radio show. He was in charge of the nukes for NATO. They don't have a deliverable. Having one and then having another, so you can detonate and show you the power. They didn't drop a bomb. And the ballistic side of it, again, they have it, but it doesn't work as well. How many times you hear them shoot shit off and it lands in a freaking, they think it's going into the ocean and it lands in a freaking street in South Korea.
I think they could hit South Korea. I think they could hit South Korea.
They could hit South Korea.
And I want to look up the fat electrician about Operation Praying Mantis. That was in the comments.
Yeah.
Just because I like the guy's name. And
did you not hear about that?
No.
That was that under Trump? The one they tried to do fucking that was where they went and I think they thought they were gonna take out they were gonna put listening devices and stuff all over. And they got there and then they saw some people, they fucking ended up killing them before they got to the beach and they dragged him away. And it was just a nightmare. That did not go well. That was
horrible.
That was not a good, it was like.
That's something to look at. It was like the Bay of Pigs.
No, it was just like they killed two people that were fishing.
Oh.
And then drove away and thought, well, okay, let's just pretend this never happened. Let's write this down as this did not happen.
Or they were terrorists. Those fishing terrorists. They were fishing for nukes.
Fishing for nukes. I don't want to go to war. I was promised we're not going to war. Right?
Well, I don't consider these wars.
So
Operation Praying Mantis was Reagan. That's funny. I will look it up though. That sounds funny.
North, because we just did
not funny because people died, but just funny when you hear things go that out of whack.
Oh yeah. What was the one with the Carter? Was it Eagle Claw, whatever it was? That we just did. That was the one under Carter that they tried to get the hostages back, and it freaking was horrible.
I got a feeling if we ever saw all the failed attempts of things we did, it would be a lot.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I mean,
they're top secret. Nobody tells. Yeah.
That would have been crazy. Let's see here. Yeah, they tried to do something and it just came out. Okay. Where was it? Okay, so 2019, the covert SEAL team operation inside North Korea that was intended to install surveillance devices. So they encountered North Korean fishing boat and killed several unarmed fishermen, then aborted the operation.
It's
And
horrible.
then they covered it up. That didn't go well.
It's horrible.
Yeah, because they thought these guys are going to snitch on us, so we better take them out.
Oh, not because it's just they accidentally.
And
thought it
those
was
guys would have
something
probably
else.
like, "Fucking come aboard, man. Can we go with you guys?"
I started to say they were probably
I'd
happily.
help you out.
Yeah.
So
Snitch. I want
And I
to
think
get
they
some Korean
sunk the
barbecue.
guy's boats too, and made it seem like that they tried to go to South Korea. I think it's what they tried to do. It's just not a good look.
That's not a good look.
All right, I should go to bed. I'm gonna
All
get
right,
up
go
in
to bed.
45 minutes.
Yep.
All right, so
We'll
I'm
talk
sure I'll
later.
text you in a couple hours when you're still wide awake, going, "I'm gonna
Yep.
freaking."
I'll send you a ghost or a monster or something.
You'll
Something
send me
fun
something cool like that.
on a
All right,
shaky camera.
as you do, and then it'll be 45 minutes, of me listening to a guy go, "So this is me right here, and then these are my shoes," and then like you're waiting for the ghost. You're like, "What the fuck's the ghost, dude? That's all I care about. I don't need anything else." So
And it's so blurry. You're like, I don't even know what I saw.
yeah, no, no, no.